Hey, Bougie Gang, what's going on? How are you? What's going on? Let's see. Happy Saturday. Um, guys, I had to work on. You guys know I love setting up my artwork. Hey, guys, say hi to Ernest. And say hi to the Williams guys. Make sure to say hi to the Williams are here with us. Nesto and Shirley, aka Shirnesto. What's up? Good evening, Bougie Gang. What's up? Did you guys have a fun Saturday? I made fish and grits, and when I get off of here, my daughter put in a special request for fried chicken. She didn't want fried fish, but she ate the grits, so it's like cooking never done. Um, Yes. Okay, guys, we had to push this back because we were live for an hour, 2.5 hours earlier today, and sis was tired. Okay. Um, you're ready this time. It's Jackson Tabasco. Guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. Y'all, the live this morning was very good. It was long, but if you're a trooper, go ahead and check it out. Um, I know Sylvia was live. I was sitting there, I was eating a Snickers, I was enjoying, and I was like, I was just chilling. And then I'm like, oh my God, it's almost 6 o'clock. So I knew I needed to get ready. Anyway, so look, I dropped a couple of videos at the end of this week, and I think we're going to react to them tomorrow. Okay. The one with Dre where he's talking about Dominique, and then the one yesterday when he's talking to Shirley and he's upset. And this is, he had literally just left court. So today we reacted to a video from phone calls from prison, and he was talking about he was going to court on the 31st. The call that I dropped yesterday was the 31st. He just left court. Okay. So if you're not caught up over here, the last two videos that were dropped over here are the ones you want to listen to. And we kind of reacted to yesterday's video, but not in total. But we might do that tomorrow morning on like the early with coffee. Because I just can't be online all day tomorrow because, of course, my husband and my daughter go back to school. Well, he goes to work and she goes to school on Monday. So I like to try to spend the day with my family. So we'll have to be up. I'm gonna be up early, and then we'll get our reactions in and go on about our day, right? Um, so what did I want to share with you guys? You guys had lots of questions. Guys, make sure if you haven't watched the video yet, go watch it from today. It is long, and I would just probably break it into parts if you're challenged with like sitting for 2.5 hours for a video. I mean, I know for some people it's just like way too long, but I feel like it was really full of information. So I want to say hi and welcome to everyone. Thank you for everyone coming through. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys tell me what you want to talk about. I will drop the call in. If you would like to call in, you have a question, you have a statement, you'd like to say something. Let's just be respectful of time. So let's try to keep it to like 3 to 5 minutes at the most. That way, if people want to call in, because I do like to just take one call at a time. I don't do like the panel up like I just feel like it gets like for me, it works better if I can one-on-one answer your question and such. So if you'd like to call in and say something, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to do so. I would love to hear what you have to say. So I think, yes, we are live on YouTube and Facebook. So I'm dropping the link. So go ahead and call in. If you'd like to cam up, you're more than welcome to. Don't feel obligated to turn your camera on. More than likely, this is what's going to be showing anyway, just because I don't have any time for corn bombs and all of that. So, we will take our precautions because, sometimes people like to act silly, but that's okay. Because, girl, I've been around YouTube for a minute. So we're going to see how that goes. If you want to call in, please feel free to do so. Welcome and happy Saturday. Let's get into something really quick. So when we left off earlier today, we were talking about the King Mozzie video. And then we were also talking about old girl called old girl in Cali and told her everything, right? That's just something that has stuck out in the back of my mind. And of course, I don't have it ready. Um, let me see if I can find it. I was looking for it earlier and I was looking on Love Lies and Lacefronts, but I think it's probably on this channel. So let me find it real quick. I'm sure I have it. Oh, let me show you this real quick. Well, since we're looking at stuff. Hold on. Okay. So we also looked at Erica King showing up to the Walmart parking lot, right? And I told you that Shirley had liked that post, right? Okay. So let me make sure I'm keep myself a very honest woman over here. Let me show you guys that. Can I have this up and show that at the same time? Let's see. Okay. Let me do that and do that. Oh, okay. Welcome back to my channel. Guys, enter Erica King. She's pulling up in her Rolls Royce. She's getting ready to enter into one of Ernesto's motor coaches. This is in 2017. Okay, so you see this? I'm trying to make it as big as possible, but 4,900 views, liked by my girl Shirley, and he's over here talking about Erica, blah, 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 blah. I don't know how to pronounce her name. And Shirley's Steve over Harvey's there talking about, hey guys, welcome. Shirley's over there talking about, do you know her? Okay. Do you know her? Who is this woman? Your co-defendant. Oh, you don't know her? Oh, okay. I mean, shall we pull up the Thanksgiving picture too? But we're not going to even do all that right now. I can, but we're not. But Shirley liked this picture, and it's not even this picture, this post, because this is the post with her. Welcome back to my channel, guys. Enter Erica King. She's pulling up in her Rolls Royce. Okay. Let me kill the sound. Steve. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Guys, enter. Let me kill the sound on this. Okay. So, all right. I mean, I guess I don't know how many different situations we have to like figure out. Okay, so let me show you guys this too. I think a lot of people have questions. Gosh, I can't believe Shirley knew, didn't know, whatever. Shirley has to know some of these people. I mean, I don't know that Shirley had other people running her social media. So I don't really know. I can't even account for it. It's almost ridiculous at this point. This is a post. This was on Nesto's Buckhead. If you recall, Nesto and Shirley talking, and he made sure that he kind of put Shirley in kind of the know about the ambulance. He kind of very slickly was like, "Oh yeah, remember the girl Dawn, and you did the photo of your candle line in the back of the ambulance." That's why I posted this. It wasn't about the weight loss secrets. It was about when she said, "Dawn, don't have me out here looking stupid," right? Um, Dawn was at the radio station. Dawn's the one who told her that taking pictures in the back of the ambulance that was parked at 980 Pine Grove was ghetto. Okay. I'm sure you guys got that reference, right? That was Dawn. So listen to this.
You're losing weight. Tell us the secret and what you're doing.
Okay. Wait. Don't have me on here looking crazy, Dawn. Okay.
Don't have me on here looking crazy, Dawn. So she's talking to Dawn. Dawn is saying, "Oh, you're losing weight. What are you doing?" Da 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 da. The reason why I put an ambulance on here was, yeah, that's Dawn. So we found Dawn somewhere on this internet, right?
It's not a secret.
What's the secret and what you're
okay.
doing?
Okay. Wait.
Shirley has had some. Shirley, I don't know what all Shirley knows, but Shirley knows enough. Shirley knows that there was a random ambulance at a house that had her daughter. I don't know if she knew about the lease, but Shirley was sitting in an ambulance that had been parked over at a house that was being leased by her husband, and her daughter's name was on the lease. I can't answer to why. Okay. Now let me see what else. Let me see. You guys were wanting to hear the reference about old girl. Okay, let's see. That's Mississippi Monica. Is this died on Pine Grove? Shirley just knew that Mississippi Monica, but if you guys want to hear some of that foolishness,
I got a call from the jail, and I didn't answer it because I'm like, who would be calling me?
that was a whole lie. I got a call from the jail and I was like, who could be calling me? Girl,
From
you knew
jail.
who was
Your
calling. Your husband, who's been arrested a multitude of times. Like, what? Do you hear her telling, like, is Miss Shirley lying to us in this apology, or
Who would be calling me from jail? I looked at my phone like, jail.
that's where I kind of have to call bullshit. Shirley is too much.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Is that good?
Yeah. Okay.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome, sir. You have a good day. Yeah.
I swear to God, he sounds like
Yeah,
Buckley.
I do.
Be kidding on this. Nobody is jealous of No Nesta. Hey guys, welcome. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be quick. We actually looked at this the other day, but just wanted to give you a quick visual. This is Ernesto. This is a screenshot of the Georgia Correctional Department and basically his profile as a prison inmate. So take a look at this. It's got his known aliases. It's got when he was incarcerated. It's got a pretty good amount of information. So if you were curious about his incarceration in the state, 93, 2001. Okay, incarceration began 93. Wait, let's 91. You can read it. I mean, this is just, he's had Georgia State of Corrections, 1990, 1992. He got out, then 6 months later went back in. I mean, it's a mess. So he's been in and out on numerous occasions and many known aliases. Okay. Okay. Look at Cheryl Underwood. Okay, let me find old girl called old girl. Days she wasn't even sweating it because this man charges like he got a lot of style. That's what first got me interested. I'm gonna have to find it. Shirley says it's the haters. Roswell police. My channel. Okay. Ernesto Williams talking to his side chick. I'm gonna have to find. Oh, is this? That's not it.
Or the case involving the exploitation. There are 4 separate counts there.
Court is inclined to grant a bond on
4 days now. He's been 322 in.
On one of the.
Okay. Is this
I'm doing all right. Shit, I'm trying to make it, man. Oh, I told you, old girl called old girl in California and told her everything.
Okay, yeah, I got that part, but don't talk about that don't talk about that. I got you.
Yeah.
This next clip is from May 29th, and you'll hear Ernesto.
Damn. So old girl called old girl in California and told her everything. And he basically says, don't talk about that. What do you think that was? Okay. Well, apparently not. They're apparently not. There's a bunch of old time players out here, but he was involved in a bunch of mess, girl.
And a friend talk about how Shirley wants to sell the truck. I believe the truck they're talking about is either a box truck or an 18-wheeler that Ernesto owns and used for his mobile barber shop. It sounds like Ernesto isn't really cool.
Okay, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Shit, I'm trying to make it, man. Oh, I told you, old girl called old girl in California and told her everything.
Okay.
Okay, so I just dropped the link to that. Someone asked earlier today about old girl who called old girl in California and told her everything. This was in October. Well, not October last year. This might have been March of this year. I don't think Shirley was in California. I think there's someone who knows them on the East Coast who called whoever is familiar with the scam out in California, and that's what that's in reference to. That's just my theory. You guys might think different. It could have been Sonia calling Shirley. It could have been anybody calling anybody, but it was enough for Ernesto to say don't talk about that. So for whomever asked about that earlier today, hopefully that helps. I dropped the link to this short. As far as what video this came from, I would have to track it down by the date because I'm not sure. Um, this was posted on August 17th. This is almost 2 months ago now. So I would have to track back what video this came from. So I could do that if that's a video that you want to watch. But I really think that this came from Phone Calls from Prison, episode 1 in the series, I think. So I'm not 100% sure, but that's what I keep thinking because I re-listened to it a couple of weeks ago, and I think that's where it came from because that's what sticks out in my head. And usually, if I remember something, I pretty much feel like that's a good memory. Deep secrets. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot going on. Hey, S. Wiseman, how are you? What's up, sis? How are you? Hey, pineapples. Hello, everyone who's here. Okay, let's get into something else. So, something else I wanted to talk to you guys about. So, we did look at the King Mazi. Someone's going to say, I'm sure, who is King Mazi? There was a comment dropped. So there was a comment that was dropped on Shirley's Facebook. I did not mean to elude that Shirley read it and didn't acknowledge it. I don't know what Shirley read. I get a lot of comments too. I can't read everything, right? So we don't know that Shirley ever really saw the comment or not, but Sir dropped a book on Shirley and basically kind of dropped the tea on what was to happen. That's where we left off in the last video. And oh goodness, let me see if I can find it. That's where we left off. And I have some documents that I think one of these is King Mazi. So I redacted his information. So, but I feel like based on the narrative of the indictment, it it's got to be him. It's got to. Obviously, his name is not. Well, I don't want to say obviously because there are people out here named King, but it is not. It's under a name, a first and last government name that is not King Mazi, but the gentleman's name. I'll just say first name Melvin, and the narrative point for point is basically what was discussed in that post. So let me pull these up. And both of these instances, there's two different instances, one with Melvin, one with Crystal. And in both of these situations, they did not prosecute. And I think both victims were left to having to resort to a civil action to try to get some sort of justice or recoup their funds. And I don't know if that happened or not. I'm just going to be honest. I don't know what the outcome of the trials were. But let's take a look. Let me see. Let me take a look. Oh, let's see. This first one is the first one. Okay. All right. I think I took everything off of here that I should. So let's see. Let me try to make this big so you guys can see it. I talked to you guys about this today a little bit. So basically, this was a grand jury proceeding, and they did move forward with an indictment. But the final of this was that it was a nole proce, which I think just means no prosecution. But basically, so you can see this was a certified document. I requested this from the Fulton County Superior Court website, ordered it. You have to pay a fee and it comes with like a certificate and everything. But I did the red marking out because it had the whole entire seated grand jury, and I typically grand juries are secret, so I don't know why all this information would be on there, but I crossed everything out. And then also it had the full government of the person. But anyway, in the names and behalf of the citizens of Georgia, do charge and accuse Ernest L. Williams of the offense of theft by deception in the county of Fulton, state of Georgia, on the 27th of November, 2013. We're going into 10 years of the same scam. Accused did create the impression upon. Ooh. All right. Hold on. All right. Okay. Impression upon Melvin. I'm going to have to, let me get another pen. Okay. Upon Melvin, I'm going to need to redact that more, and you may have already seen it. So, that the accused, and this is a public document, so I was just trying to preserve this person's name. But again, this was a public document, so I'm not going to pull up the other one either, but the rightful possessor of, okay, so impression upon Melvin that the accused was the rightful possessor of a 1989 Prevost bus, which the accused sold to Melvin, promising to provide the title to said vehicle at the time of the purchase. The vehicle had a valid lien placed upon it, and the lien holder took possession of the 1989 Prevost bus, thereby depriving the victim of said property and currency. And at the time, it was a $15,000 check. And I think he took him to civil court for $30,000. I'm going to see if I can find a copy of the civil action and see what the final disposition on it was. But I mean, this has been the same scam, or the same situation over and over. Call it a scam, call it a oopsie daisy. At the end of the day, Ernesto was never found guilty of this. A state grand jury felt that there was enough evidence to bring it to state court, but they decided not to prosecute, and I'm not sure why. According to the gentleman, King Mazi, if this is him, stated that he had a driver's license, a bill of sale. He had all kinds of documentation that a bus was sold to him, and no way to be able to register the bus. But because the bus had a lien on it, I'm sure he probably was never able to register this bus. Also, it says the vehicle had a valid lien placed upon it, and the lien holder took possession of. So the individual had the truck, had the 1989 Prevost. However, the lien holder ended up taking back possession of it. So, I mean, this is just the same thing that's been happening over and over and over and over and over again. And there's another situation where this happened also. There's another situation with someone named Crystal. Let me see if this one is, if her name is on here twice, because I feel like it's only on here once. But let me just double check. The accused to create the impression that the accused would the victim of an RV. So this was as it pertains to an RV. Let me just make sure. Serve as a mobile barbershop vehicle. Okay. Let's see. Let me just double check. Okay, hopefully this one is correct. All right, just 1 second. Let me switch my screen. This one. Okay. So this one, in the name of the behalf citizens of Georgia, Ernest L. Williams, the offense of theft by deception on the 18th day of October 2013. Accused did create the impression the accused would provide the victim, Crystal, an RV, recreational vehicle, which was to serve as a mobile barbershop in exchange for $10,000 US currency. The accused received cash and has failed to provide the vehicle despite numerous attempts by the victim to have the accused provide the vehicle in question or return the funds given to the accused, contrary to the law of said state and good order, peace, and dignity thereof. I mean, this is just, I don't know. I don't know what they're waiting for. I'm going to be honest, because there's just a whole entire history of a certain type of behavior that you can see that's been illustrated. I don't really know. I mean, but we're going to see how this whole thing folds out. Let me see. Let me adjust the size. Okay, there we go. I'm like, why can I say? Hey, Sylvia, how are you? Hey, Latoya, Max, Black Hourglass. And I want to thank those of you who have sent cash apps. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys supporting this channel and my other channel. You guys are amazing. Definitely a lot of what you guys do helps to pay for subscriptions and all of the things, because I definitely have a lot to be able to bring some, some of the graphics and some of the things that I do. And I really do appreciate all of the support. It definitely is. When I say much appreciated, it's very much appreciated. Thank you. Your commentary. Oh, thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. And I'm not a legal expert, but I'm a true crime buff, and this is giving me a lot of what I like in true crime and like celebrity pop culture. So this is kind of like a little bit of everything. It's definitely very juicy and gossipy. But yeah, I wanted to bring that to you guys because I felt like that it's just, we've heard a lot about what's happening now. We've seen some of what's been happening in the past, and I think a lot of it is very much of a tie-in. I don't know why were not able to prosecute in 2013. I'm not sure if it was just like lack of receipts, lack of witnesses, or maybe they just thought, you know what, this is a civil matter. It's not. Um, Maybe they just didn't have enough of to prosecute him, um and they just said, you know what, let's just call it it's a business discrepancy. Let's just send this down to the civil court for financial damages. But I just think that someone who's got a history of having this type of problem, accepting monies and not delivering on the promises, either the goods or the services that were promised or contracted. And maybe it's because there's no contracts. I don't know. King Mazi said he did have a bill of sale. I'm quite sure there's text messages and emails. I feel like some of this gets probably a little bit twisted because of the fact that there has been some sex and some relationships involved with some of these women. I'm not really sure, just to be quite honest. I don't know what you guys' opinions are, but I think it's probably quite embarrassing for some of the ladies who were involved and have dealt with this guy to, sometimes I believe that there's a little bit of shame when you've been duped and you've been suckered out your money, and then also just to couple it with, yeah, maybe you had a brief affair, or there may have been a little bit of some kissing or whatever, even just some dates. There might be something where you kind of have to think like, okay, I maybe didn't use my best judgment in dealing with this guy. Maybe I let it go a little too far, or I should have kept it a little more professional. I don't know. I'm not saying that in relation to any one person in specific. I'm just saying that I don't know why they seem to have trouble prosecuting these cases, or deciding not to prosecute these cases, because I think just the sheer repetitiveness of the same type of con is interesting. Okay. Let me see what you guys are saying. So we saw Ty the jeweler from Danielle Diamonds. We saw her earlier today. I don't know if you guys want to see her again, which I don't know if that's even worth looking at this point. Is there any do you guys have any questions for me tonight? Let's see. I think I did drop the invite link. So if anybody wants to say their piece, you are more than welcome to hit the link. Let me see what else I have. I feel like there were a couple other things I wanted to talk to you guys about. The identity theft. So the identity theft would be, what are you talking about? Sheridan's name being signed on the lease. He used Shirley's for her name and help his image. I think so. I think that I keep saying he was like a bogus Kevin Samuels. I really feel like he came through Atlanta at a time, like a high time for Atlanta, where obviously Atlanta has been very well known for a lot of things, the black entertainment industry, the music industry, all of that. But I think also, I'm not blaming the manosphere at all. I'm just saying, the very well dressed, well cologned, sharp dressed, Rolls Royce driving man about town in Atlanta. He came through right at the right time. But I mean, when he opens his mouth, it's a disaster because he can't speak, right? But I think Shirley, when she met him, she met him some kind of way. I guess they say she met him through Panay, or she met him through a hairdresser. I don't know if it was Panay or not. Um, Ebony Steele was getting her hair done. She and the person are no longer friends. Steve Harvey took a lot of credit for, introducing them. Later, that has been debunked as not so. Okay, hold on, guys. We have a caller. Hello.
Hello, love your show.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to take a sip of water while you go ahead.
Okay, I remember on one of the shows they were saying Shirley was telling Ernesto that the comments in her Facebook page was so bad that they were saying horrible things. That's what she said. They were saying horrible things, and then she said she had to cut off the comments because they were so bad. My belief is Shirley is so consumed in who she wants to be, that fabulous star, that she just really didn't pay attention to what Ernesto was doing. She knows
Yes,
some of the stuff.
I think so. I think that I think you're right. I think that, look, Shirley, I feel like I've heard people say, oh, Shirley wanted the lifestyle. Shirley makes a nice coin. Shirley makes six figures, and Shirley can have a Rolls Royce. If Shirley's making $500,000, sis can buy her own Rolls Royce. I mean, you can make a car payment with a Rolls Royce. Sis can buy designer bags and designer shoes. She really did not need him. I
No.
think she went downhill. I don't know if something is really wrong with her, because I'm not trying to be mean, but something has got to be wrong, like, with her at this moment in time, to be a well compensated person making six figures and kind of backwards hustling. I mean, she is on the backwards hustle. I mean, sis, her money is funny. He attached himself to her for a reason. If she was broke like she is right now, they wouldn't even be together. The only reason why they are still together is because he needs her. He's in jail. He has nothing, but she still has a name, right? She still has a name. So whether she has $0, she's still attached to a very wealthy man. She still has a very good job, so she's still making a paycheck. And she still has a name, because when you are influential, it's not just your net worth, it's your network, it's your resources. There's like 5 or 6 things that make you a high value individual. It's not just the money. It's the influence that you have, it's the resources you have, it's the people that you know. And I mean, maybe even your credit. We know her credit might have been funny, but she may have checked some of the boxes to still make her valuable to him.
Right. Another thing is, I'm just saying, watching all this, I'm just saying, Shirley is 69 years old. She's been alone for a long time. A lot of men, they prey on that because she will do anything to keep that man. She went against her own daughter. Anything to keep that man, because she don't want to be by herself. She was so happy when he came on that show and proposed to her. She just thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. Even if you watch the cars that I mean, when they're in the car together and he's filming, she's waving, she's just so giddy to have a man, till she lost. She was looking at the stuff that she had, because I was watching another um one of the one of the YouTubers, and she just, I don't know, she, everything was, he had all this stuff that he was showing that he had. She wanted that for herself. I mean, Nesto, I mean, uh a lot of women would have went for him because they thought
He's
that
a
he
nice
already
looking
had it.
guy. He's definitely a nice looking guy. He wears this, you know what I mean? Like he's a guy that if you didn't know any better, when you see him in the suit, the Rolls Royce, all the things, I
Yes.
mean, you might could get caught up,
Right. Right.
you know? He
Yep.
had enough of an Instagram feed and maybe a little bit of his foot in the door in Atlanta to get him into where he could meet up with Steve Harvey, get in the
Exactly.
circle. Cause I went way back into his Instagram feed and he was over there. I think he might have had a booth at the Hoodie Awards. I don't know. I'll
See,
have to go all the way back. But him and his son were at the hoodies. Now, I can't say that that's pre him meeting Shirley or not, but it's quite possible. I mean, when Steve used to have the hoodies in Atlanta, and
hmm
let's say he had a booth there, let's say he shook a couple of hands, he got to meet Steve Harvey and put himself in the mist. He might have had on a nice Hugo Boss suit and some Ferragamo shoes and had
see,
on the right cologne. And he thought Steve might have thought he was dealing with a somebody who was about town and
exactly,
about business, because Ernesto
exactly.
could clean himself up nice, but he's, obviously there was more going on.
Right. You're
But
right.
yeah, I feel bad for Shirley in the sense that she didn't work this hard for all of this, but
No.
I also feel like everyone's not a hater and everyone's not jealous, and if she
No.
would have focused a little bit more on all of this that she talks about, God sending messages and being
Yes.
faithful and all of these things, and she would stop trying to focus on just getting what she wants, and also
hmm
knowing that maybe God was trying to tell you something. It's not always the devil. Like, stop trying to make it
No.
seem like the devil is on your back all the time. Maybe you were getting a clue and a hint that something wasn't right,
She
and
was.
she's yeah.
As much as she stayed in her word, I'm gonna be honest. I stayed in my word, and I got tired of being. That's why I said what I said, because I got tired of being by myself and married this man, and it was the worst marriage I could have ever. I overrode the Holy Ghost,
Mm.
not listening. I'm praying for a man, and this guy come in, and it wasn't the devil, it was me, because I seen signs, I seen red flags, and I overrode the Holy Ghost, and that's what she
You was
did.
in your flesh.
I was in my flesh, for real. And
Oh, I
so was
mean,
she.
hey, let's set a Saturday night meeting, okay? I mean, if sometimes we just have to tell the truth about some things. I mean, if you were feeling some type of way, you like this guy, you knew there were red flags, but you said to
Yeah,
yourself, "Hey, I'm going to try to make this work." And you knew it wasn't really right for whatever reason. I mean,
yeah,
yes, sometimes it might just be he's good looking or he makes me feel a certain type of way or he's
exactly,
fun or I've been alone for so long it's got to be what I think it is. I mean, that's
exactly.
real. That's real. That's very, very real.
And I really think that's what, because they always would tease her on the show, about her being
Oh my God.
by herself.
Yes.
So I just think that she just hooked up with this dude and she seen little stuff and she ignored it. And this is so sad because he has taken her all the way down. And then, she carries herself in a certain type of way. She's so embarrassed. She's so embarrassed. I know she have to go to work because they garnishing her checks.
Yeah, she has to go to work. She has a
She have
lifestyle, she
to.
got bills. She has taste. She has to
Yeah,
keep it. She's on a show with people who are, I don't know that they're all millionaires, but she's got to go to work in
exactly.
and make that money.
Yes.
And she has garnishment, she has credit to pay back off. She has a lot of responsibilities that he left her with. So
A
yeah, I
lot.
mean
It's
sis
so
has to
sad.
work.
And he's constantly, I need you to get my truck. I need you to do. And
Oh my
I don't know if
God,
you
that
guys
damn
know,
truck.
girl, that raggedy
That
truck.
raggedy
It's raggedy.
F-350.
It's leaking oil and everything.
Let me pull it up. Look at this. This is the Dodge Charger. I don't know if this is the Dodge Charger that was talked about in that video. Now, obviously, that's the Rolls Royce right there. But Sir has a fleet of cars. Every car that you see on his feed, I don't know if you're looking at the screen right now, had
Mm-mm.
his signature on it. Every
Yeah.
single car had Nestos on it. There's Dion.
Hmm.
Um, so, what do you think about the people? I know you see them in the comments sometimes. If they get real rude, I delete them. I'm going to be honest. If you get real rude or indignant or you start arguing with people in the comments like in a bad way, like disrespectful, I do take them out. But what do you think about the people who feel like having these conversations, talking about this story is wrong? And that it's a bad thing for channels to be discussing this matter. What do you say about that?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, because I watch this channel, I have a friend that's kind of like Shirley. She really don't, she not out there like that, so she don't know a lot of street stuff.
Mhm.
And I was telling her about the story. And she said, you really helping me because she overlooks stuff, take a blind eye to stuff. She don't ask questions. Shirley never asked. She don't never
Never
ask them
ask
no
a
questions on the
question.
phone. She never asks questions. And my friend, she'll go out on a date, and I said, "Well, what kind of job you got?" "I don't know." What are you talking about then if you out on a date? And she's 52, but she's so consumed in church. A lot of times, I hate to say it because I love God. But a lot of times when these women are in church, they get bamboozled. They really
Mhm.
do. They get bamboozled. They get so into the word, and just like she's always throwing the word out to him, and God is gonna fix this, and don't worry about it. No, he not gonna fix it. This is a mess.
Right.
He not gonna
Absolutely.
bless no mess. And and
Well,
and I'm
and you got yourself into it, you might have to get yourself up out of it because he didn't send you to it. You walked into it. That's what you
you
wanted.
you did
You
it.
didn't
And they
follow the
always
plan. So you go
yeah,
ahead
and
and
they
get
always
yourself
want
out of it.
yeah, they always want to say the devil did it. No, I walked into that marriage because I
Mhm.
didn't listen and I got hurt the most in my life. So this
Okay.
is, to me, this is helping a lot of women that ignore stuff. Don't ignore stuff. Ask questions. Don't just go by what the man say. Just like she said to him, so what are they saying? Your business is not legitimate. Do you remember her saying that?
She said that, yeah, I remember them saying that, I can't recall her sending him back, like, talking to him back. asking him, like, is it not legitimate? But I remember her saying that Officer Fields told her that they did not consider his business to be a legitimate business. Um,
Exactly.
and okay, so here's the F-350. And he's getting ready to haul gravel in it, I guess. He's probably going to go do a parking lot. I mean, he did a little bit of everything. He's one of these guys who does everything. He'll
Yeah,
go
he a
wash your
hustler.
car, damn, build a house, go do
He a
your
hustler.
driveway. Yeah, he's basically, okay, we can do that. We're going to do hair. We're going to do driveways.
Mhm.
We might even be able to cater. Like, they're going to do
Yep.
everything. So Dion's over there driving the truck.
Yep. Yep. He had his hands in everything because he a hustler. And he
Mm-hmm.
could have did it. He had enough sense to pull that kind of money. If he wouldn't have tricked people, he could have really had a legitimate business. He
Right.
has a gift. That dude got a gift of gab. And
Mm-hmm.
he used it for evil and wickedness, but he could have made honest money because he's not lazy. He's not lazy.
Well, I'm gonna just say I don't know if he spent a lot of time finessing women out of their money. So I don't know if he was lazy or I'm gonna be
That
honest, I don't know
too.
if he's lazy or not. Because as far as him having the type of mind to be able to put businesses together and come up with something from nothing, it's too bad he couldn't just stay focused on the good
Yes.
and having legitimate businesses and not trying to finesse money out of women who maybe thought he was cute and had a couple of extra coins, because there's one too
Exactly.
many stories about him separating women from their coins
Yeah.
and having some sort of sexual something with them,
Oh yeah.
which just sounds like he's a playboy.
And
um
he is.
but yeah, so okay, so yeah, you feel like this type of commentary, talking about this situation is really helping
I think
some
I
people out
do.
that really need to know that this is still going on. Yeah, because this is real. This is still going on. It's 2023, and a good man, a self-respecting man, is not going to ask you to clear out your bank account. And
No.
if you're dealing with someone and you feel like your relationship is in jeopardy if you don't give them what you want, take a risk with not giving them what they want and see if they're still around. If someone's not going to deal with you because you're not going to help them financially, you don't need them. So hopefully
Exactly.
everybody in this chat knows that. But try not giving someone something that they want, and if they're still around, then maybe they're with you for the right reason. If they're
Right.
not, then you just saved yourself. Do not,
Exactly.
don't give husband benefits to boyfriends, and don't act like a wife when you're a girlfriend. If someone has not wifed you up, they do not deserve your coin, your name, your privileges, your resources, your phone list, none of that. They may not even really need to come to church with you until you know what I'm saying? It's very, very serious.
Right.
Um, but thank you so much for calling in. Do you have
Yeah.
anything else to tell us?
No, I really enjoy your commentary, and I
Oh, thank
really
you.
pray and hope that this will help somebody that's going through this and they see the red flags. It's not just we're just gossiping. This is a real, like, this is a movie. It's
There's
so much stuff
someone's
I get a
auntie is
headache.
out there. Yeah, someone's auntie, someone's mom,
Yes.
someone is feeling like they need to part with $10,000 tonight, and I'm here to tell you tonight, girl, keep your money in your account.
Come
Don't
on.
do
That's
that.
it.
Don't
That's
do
it.
that.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do
Okay.
that. If
Thank
he's
you
not
for
gonna be
having me on your
around, if you're
show.
not gonna give him the money, he's not gonna be around anyway.
No, no.
Yeah,
That's
don't do
it.
that.
Thank you
Absolutely.
so
Thank
much
you.
for letting me call in.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, you take
Okay.
care now. All
All
right.
right. I'm going
Okay.
back down into the chat. Bye bye.
Okay. All right. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, y'all. Thanks. Say thanks to Auntie D for calling up. So yeah, I got the Instagram feed going behind the scenes, guys, right here. We see D, not D, excuse me. I'm just thinking about Auntie D. We see this is the Instagram feed. Let me go all the way down into the Instagram feed and see when he was at the hoodies, because he was at the hoodies like long time ago. Nesto, one thing Nesto did was he had this Instagram feed going, and this, I'm sure. Okay, let me show you guys. I know you guys have seen this. So he names a bunch of people here. Okay. My girl Shirley, Erica King, Davy L. Jackson, and then two other names. I'm not going to say their names because last time we were over here, I mentioned the names, and one of the people were in the bushes, and was like, I don't even know these people. It just so happened that I was at dinner and blah blah blah. And I get it, and I wouldn't want, you know what I mean? Like I would be like, I don't know them either. Um, hey sis, how are you? I recognize the name from the chat. Hey sis, how are you? Happy Saturday night.
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Let me just make this point real quick.
Okay.
So there's a bunch of people at the table. You've seen this picture. Can you see what I'm showing right now?
Yes. Looking
Okay.
at it now.
So it would stand to reason 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people plus Nesto are sitting at the table. So that makes 6, right? Someone took the picture, unless it was up on a tripod, and I don't think that was the case. I believe it was probably Erica King, which a lot of people have talked about this. It was more than likely Erica King at the table taking this photo. And, the fact that Nesto sits there and pretends like he doesn't know her name, the fact that Shirley says, who is that person? Do you know her? Meanwhile, we saw the picture. I showed you the post where she liked the post of the Queen of the South showing up in her Rolls Royce. Unless Shirley can say someone else was managing her social media and she never liked any of these pictures, this was all someone else doing that. I don't really know.
Who's the woman
She
that's sitting in front of Shirley? Who is that?
I think that was Davy L. Hold on one second. Let's go back. Am I the wrong way? Let me go back. I think that was Davy L. And I don't know who, I can't tell you who Davy L is, but some of these, when you click on the name, like some of these people have cut their social media off for
Okay.
obvious purposes. I mean, I probably would too. Or made their pages private for obvious reasons, but that is Davy L.
Yeah,
And you,
that is Erica Kane. I saw that in the chat. I think that is her. You know, she has a before Nesto and an after Nesto look.
well,
And
I thought that was her too at first. I'm not sure if that is her. I'm almost thinking that that is the person, that Erica may have been the one taking the picture, but he tagged her in the caption here. I don't,
okay.
her nose is a little bit more prominent. I'll show you another picture of Erica King just to compare with this one.
Because that
But
the mugshot, she looks like a victim of Nesto's. I mean,
she
I know
looks
she's
very
his
much
partner, but
busted.
she's been
Yeah,
through it. And maybe that was after she got attacked in the jail. Remember, she had she was attacked. Pam read the notes.
right.
So I don't know. I don't know. She has many looks, but
Well, and she may have just gained some pounds. They took her wig off, all of the things. So maybe it just, obviously, because look at the nose. I mean, I don't
the
know.
nose does look
Maybe
bigger in the mugshot.
the nose looks
Okay,
bigger. Well,
is this her right here? Yeah.
this is
Is
her
that her?
right here. And there's some other, okay, you'll see her very well in this. This is her pulling up to a Walmart parking lot, where there was a situation that happened on a bus in a Walmart parking lot. I can't say this is that time frame, but just like Dre said, Nesto is known to camp out in a Walmart parking lot with his RV.
Okay. So
And
this
here
is
she is.
Erica.
This is Erica, the Queen of the South. Here she goes.
Queen of the South. What you doing over here? What up, Ernesto? How you doing? I had to come check on you in my neck of the woods. Boy, you made my day. Erica King.
He looks like she could be the lady at the table, but I don't think she is now.
I gotta pull up. Hey, I so appreciate you.
Yeah, but my point is, also Shirley knows these people. She's come across these people at one point or another. So I know people have said, hey, the strawberry letter should be canceled. She can't give any more advice. Nobody, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with her and him. I mean, they make a very nice couple. I think that,
You mean
if
aesthetically?
they are very aesthetically
Okay.
pleasing. They
Yeah.
make a very, yeah, of course. I mean, I don't
Mhm.
know, what I mean? Clearly, they don't. What we
Yeah.
know now, I'm not certainly they don't make a nice couple. However, on this Instagram feed, I mean, you can't say that they're not a nice looking
Yeah.
couple.
But that's a
She's
part of the problem. That's what Shirley is into, is the appearances.
yes,
It's all
that's the
connected
sad
in a
part,
weird
right?
way.
That's very much the sad part is and and I think I don't know, I can't say she believed what she wanted to believe because she may have known what was going on. She might have been doing a whole entire Carmela Soprano. She may have just been
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? As long as I'm good, I'm good. That
Mhm.
could have been
Mhm.
that could have been, you know?
Mhm.
Um, but back to the other caller too, when she said that Shirley turned her back on her daughter, um, you know, Shirley was still paying her rent. And I wonder what happened that made everything fall apart with this guy. I almost feel like when Sheridan was called into the police department and they gave her the 411 about what he was doing on
Mhm.
top of the conversation with Panay, according to Shirley, Panay turned Sheridan against her. And
Mhm.
then the police probably telling her what type of man he was. Yeah, I would have backed off and said, "Mom, I can't." You know what I mean? Like, he's dangerous and I want you away from him. He makes, what I mean, saying this is not a good thing for you. And when she decided to not listen, maybe she just felt like she needed to take her distance. I don't blame her. I do not blame her at all for wanting him not to be around her and her kids,
Or
knowing
her
what he's got.
children. Yeah.
Yeah, what he's
Yeah.
got in his computer, if he used my name for identity theft. I mean, I can vouch for that happened to us. And no, you don't. That's a very like if something like that happens to you and it's a close person to you, that's a very kind of shocking thing to your system to find out not only that something like that someone would do something like that, but then who would do that to you. So them using her name, if she was not aware of that lease, I mean, that can affect her credit. She's 27 years old. Um, Obviously, there's criminal actions going on. They're calling her and asking her about things. And then, if they gave her a rundown,
Mhm.
I wouldn't
Mhm.
blame her for saying, I don't want, like, Mom, you need to distance yourself. And then now Shirley's like, oh my God, you're being a hater too.
Well, and you know what? I'm sure that she's probably experienced a lot of inappropriate behavior from him, but she wanted to second guess herself, like we often do. Well, that's my mom's husband. Maybe he wasn't, maybe he didn't brush up against me like I thought in the hallway or whatever. And then when they called her in and told her who he really was, it all came full circle. That's kind of what I believe. Because I mean, leopards don't change their stripes, and I'm sure that maybe she's experienced some things with him, and I'm not saying what, but directly or indirectly that made her go, But she brushed it off because sometimes the truth is really inconvenient, and then, you know. You know what I mean? It's like if you think someone's cheating on you and you brush it off, and then you find out, and then things start coming back. Like, okay, that's what that was, and that's what that was, and now I'm scared. You know,
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
thinking
I
that's
mean, yeah, he seems, I don't know what type of look. Okay, I'm not gonna say. I was about to say I don't know what type of man he is. Okay, so we do know what type of man
yeah,
he
we
is.
know.
Would he come for his stepdaughter? I mean, she's not a relation.
Right, but
I don't. So
but
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I
you
don't.
know why? Because he's shown us this man literally has no conscience. He's a sociopath. Yes, he would come for his stepdaughter. I mean, think about the phone calls
They're
that we
not
used to listen
related.
to.
I mean, we've seen in Hollywood, I mean, Woody Allen, the famous director, came for the adopted daughter of his wife and
Yeah.
later married her and had a whole but and had kids with her. So I mean,
And
yeah,
it doesn't have to be
men do that.
sexual.
It's
He could have
weird.
said,
Yeah.
hey, Sharon, sign this paper for me. Let me see how you sign your signature. I mean, there's so many things he did. You know what I mean? That may have seemed
Right.
odd to her.
Right.
That now there's that aha moment. Like, damn,
Right.
it was what I thought it was.
Even just from the financial fraud of having her name on a lease in a house she does not
Exactly.
reside, where they don't
Exactly.
reside. Shirley's paying rent somewhere else. Like,
Right.
it just makes no
It could
sense
be
for
an
her to have
array of
even been on
things.
that lease. Yeah, it could have been so many different things. But yeah, I do feel like and we've talked about this a couple weeks ago. I think that when she went downtown and they gave her the rundown, she was like, I'm done. And
And,
then
yeah,
Panay,
and that's when she slapped a restraining order on him, and like, I
yeah.
don't want him back, because
Well,
at
it
that
wasn't a
time she didn't
restraining
know.
order.
They
It
were
was a no
thinking he was going to get a
contact.
bond, remember? So she didn't know when he was coming back out,
Well,
and
I
that's
think
why
it was a no contact from the, because he would have had to have been served even in jail with a restraining order. I
right.
think it was the no contact order. Shirley doesn't seem to have good sense. She doesn't like, no, it was a restraining order. He's like, no, they didn't tell me it was a restraining order. It was a no contact. But it's basically the same thing. Plus, he's not getting out anyway. So he's not contacting those people. Restraining order and no contact are not the same thing, but the judge declared do not contact these people. So
Yeah,
in theory, it is a
stay
restraining
away.
order of
Yeah,
sorts.
yeah.
But it is from the bench. We're telling you the person didn't take it out. Yeah, Sheridan would have had to take out a restraining order against him. The judge told him, do not
But do
contact these
you
people.
remember when Shirley was discussing that with him, and he immediately started flipping the script and blaming Sheridan, saying, "Oh, that's what that extra charge is. Oh, it's her fault. That's why I got that extra." You know what I mean?
Well, the conspiracy, because there's so many people involved
Yeah.
in this process. And, Erica King, his Cody lives next door. They are signing these leases, the amount of the money. Then there's people coming forward saying, I sent him $90,000. I sent him $70,000. You're going to buy diamond rings. You're trading in Mercedes. You're going and trading in buses at the car dealership. I mean, this man was doing financial transactions of a lot of money and moving money around. And really, to me, which I can't say he was washing money, but in a way, I think he was washing money. The lady with the Mercedes Bickham, he took her money and he took
Yeah.
the RV or whatever, the bus that he bought another bus. Both buses were purchased in his name. He never gave her clear title. He bought one directly with her money, then took the bus that was in his name, flipped it for another one in his name, then sold it, got cash, took that money, and went and finished paying off the diamond ring. Like, that was some convoluted,
Yeah.
sophisticated
Yeah.
money laundering. I mean, he
Absolutely.
basically washed that money to make it look like it was his. That's why they were running around looking for receipts. And that's why the lady called Ty the jeweler for a receipt. And then Ty the jeweler turns around and calls Shirley. How bad does it look for Ty the jeweler if I'm assuming she's running a legitimate business, that basically she's been implicated to have just picked up the phone to play telephone with Shirley and tell her that not only a victim called her about a receipt, a potential victim that she wasn't sure, and that's valid. But then the police called you to tell you of a potential crime, and you turn around and call the couple that have been implicated in the transaction and tell them, but it's okay, I didn't tell them anything, and I told them they need a court order to get receipts from me. Like, not saying that she was out of line to do that, but the fact that this has come out, it's on
Yeah. It's a
audio,
bad look for her.
it's a very bad look, because
Yeah.
if those calls actually happened and nobody would know about those calls other than the people that called Ty the jeweler from the jewelry store, that's not a good look for Ty.
Right. Right.
So it looks very messy.
Well, two quick observations I wanted to comment on, and then I'll
Yes, please.
move on with my Saturday, and continue watching, of course.
Oh,
But
thank you.
the laughing. I was trying to analyze it, like what this laughing is, something behind it, and what I realized is that whenever something is stated that he is directly responsible or accountable for, he laughs. So when Shirley says, I got to get something to drive, I don't have anything to drive, we get a laugh. When she says, I'm running out of money, I don't know where I'm going to live, he laughs. I know things that are incriminating to him or that he is directly responsible for. And you guys start listening moving forward. His response is to laugh, because to respond would be either to take accountability, which we know he doesn't have the capacity to do, or to at least try and comfort her, which he doesn't. He always laughs to any comment that incriminates him or that he really is accountable for happening. Just peep that as we move forward. The other thing is, this is the irony of it. Now, everybody says, myself included initially, oh, Shirley's way too intelligent. How could this have happened? And we listen to Shirley's voice. She's very articulate. Her vernacular is spot on. Her diction. But she's an airhead, and that does not make her smart. Conversely, if someone tried to hook us up on the phone with Nesto and say, girl, I got this guy I want you to meet. He's this, he's that. Here, just talk to him. And we heard his voice, we would be like, are you kidding? Did this nigga pass 3rd grade? You know what I mean? But
what in the whole
he's the
fuck?
mastermind. He's
Yes.
the mastermind behind all of this. That's what's so ironic. So when Shirley feeling like she's so incompetent because she articulates well, and we're looking at him like, he just fell off the back of a turnip truck. But obviously,
he knows how to finesse.
He knows how to finesse. Because when I first started listening, I'm like, this man is too stupid to get away with this. He got caught because he's just a dummy. But when we look at the history, and like you said, how he was laundering money and covering things up, and listen, so it's really the opposite in terms of just I don't even know what word to call it, just the strangeness of it all. We're attributing what we would think how she would be based on how she sounds and how she is to him based on how he sounds. You know what I mean? It's a creepy role reversal, because all you need really is to be able to have a really good voice for radio. That's it. You don't need to be intelligent per se. You need to be able to read the script, and you need to come across, you just sound well. And she's got that, but
I mean, when they're talking, and not that she should know a whole lot about the legal system, but somebody who reads the news, she says she wants to watch the news in the studio. They do talk about news stories from time to time on Steve Harvey. She sits there and corrects Steve all the time. You would think that
that's
some
not much to
basics,
correct Steve, though. Come on now. I mean,
well, absolutely, but she just doesn't seem to possess as much of the basics as I would expect from her. It's kind of a little bit shocking.
Yeah.
How she's just not all the way up to par. And then hearing him, it's shocking that is her husband. I mean, I hate to put him down all the way, but he is kind of low down. He's not, he sounds like he didn't make it past 5th grade.
Exactly.
And I'm not even trying to insult the 5th graders. He has a very poor education. Very, like, I don't know how far he made it, but not far at all. But he does have street smarts. So that's where he's been able to finesse all the things that he has. It's just really surprising to me that Shirley would have found herself mixed up with this type of guy. I think it's still a head scratcher. Like, wow, Shirley, like, how did you end up with this guy? Because
you know what? The light is not coming on all the way for her, because I see in the comments, and people have said this from the beginning, and I didn't want to believe it, and I still don't, but that she was wanting to compete with Marjorie and Steve. First of all, that's like me wanting to compete with Oprah. I mean, it's like you're not even in the same stratosphere financially to have a thought in your head where those are not the Joneses that you're trying to keep up with. You know what I mean? If you have any sense, you're not on a level playing field. So for her to be trying to keep up with them, and these people are multimillionaires, is insane. It's like, play your position. If you want to try to compete, stay on your level. So I can crazy to do that.
I agree with you. I don't think they're like the broke cousins, though. You know what I mean? I think that the way they were living, Shirley driving a Rolls Royce, I don't think it was out of step. I don't know what
Absolutely
Carla's
right. But
driving.
it's still a
I
whole
don't know
nother
what
level. Listen, there's
these
wealth
people. Absolutely.
and then
No,
there's rich.
the Harveys are Steve is doing a lot. Steve
Right.
Steve has a lot going on that Shirley does not, clearly,
Mhm.
right? But her driving a nice car, having a Rolls Royce, things like that, I don't think it's out of line for what
Not at
she was
all.
doing and
Right.
him as a businessman. So I don't think it really stuck out that they were really kind of living phony.
Yeah.
I think that TMZ article that came out years ago about them being evicted was kind of a shocker. And I know people have said that you can pay your way to not be posted in TMZ, or maybe
Mm.
maybe Steve made friends with Harvey Levin and said, "Hey, keep my people out of there," or whatever. Keep Shirley out. I know she's in the shits, but keep her out of there. I don't know, but we never saw another story. I've searched TMZ. There's one story. It's never been taken down, but it's the story of the eviction, and that's it, and that's all. But no one's even seeing this is going on. And I mean, I'm feeling like this is a big story, and or this should be a bigger story, and it's just not getting any coverage. It's not
Mm.
getting any coverage at
Right.
all. It's
But
just being
do
covered
you
on the
think that
internet.
it's because do you think it's relegated to the black community that we can't, and that the mainstream overall really don't care about Shirley or Steve or Nesto? Because Steve
I think
Harvey,
that Steve Harvey has enough influence. Believe it or not, no matter what people think of Steve Harvey has a tremendous amount of influence. And I think that between he and his wife and the relationships that they have fostered with some very influential people, they have the power to be able to make some things happen or not happen.
I agree with that.
And Shirley is benefiting from that. So there's just this quiet little thunder going on
Yeah.
like this right now, and on other channels, um and on TikTok, and because it's not just here on YouTube, it's TikTok, it's Facebook. They are talking about it. It's just not crossing over to the mainstream.
Well, you
Okay.
have to remember when we were under the impression that all was well, Steve was taking full credit for introducing them. But as soon as it hit the
Absolutely.
fan, he made Shirley come out and say, I don't know him. I barely know you. You know what I mean? I mean, like, she
Right.
came out and I thought, okay, so you guys are just gonna pee on us and tell us it's raining when everything was wonderful. Steve was taking all the credit for introducing
Okay.
them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I hate for someone to try and insult my intelligence. It's like, come on now. But listen, it is a gift that keeps on giving every day. I'm going to wrap this up. I wanted to just ask you, what were your thoughts about that friend, Lamont?
I
Lamont is,
feel like
Lamont is
Mhm.
between, listen, he's a cross between a ride or die and just like an Ernesto Jr. I mean,
Mhm.
I can see him being that steady friend, but he's grimy too. He's something else. He's something else. That's his boy though.
Lamont is hilarious. I thought
He
Lamont's
is
pretty
funny.
funny. I don't know what to think, to be honest. I
He
mean, I
doesn't
think
see
these
it
are
for
his
Shirley though. He's more so he's team Sonia. I can tell that.
I don't know. I think he's team Nesto. There's going to be friends. I kind of always think of it this way. There's friends that are for you, and there's friends or family that are for us. And what I mean by that is that the people who only back you, and if that person's gone out of your life, it's like, oh my God, I'm so glad they're gone. Or there's people that
Okay.
really love you as a couple. I think that Dion, according to Nesto, Dion really loves Shirley, but Dion still is for his dad. He's going to talk to Sonia because there's family members who are going to be like, I'm not getting into your stuff. Like, whatever you're doing, I don't want to know nothing about it. I'm not participating in it. I love Miss Shirley. Don't get me in your business. You know what I mean? Don't get me in your
Yes.
mess. Um, Lamont and Dion are basically with the shits. They will, whatever Ernesto wants to do, that's what they're supporting. So they're for him. They're not for the couple. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to keep
Right.
his secrets. They're going to talk to Miss Sonia, and that's it, and that's all. You know, they're just doing what they need to do for Nesto. I think these are his daughters. And with his daughters is he says, I'm
Pretty.
enjoying spending time with my daughters.
I wonder which of
I
the
want to
wives are these daughters from, though? Which of the four? Well,
I
not
mean,
well,
I
the
think
three.
there's various different ones because even though they look like him, you know, clearly they must look like the moms.
Yeah.
Because he's got 6 kids, and I don't know how many different you know what I mean? I don't know how many different baby moms he has. That would be
Well, yeah, I
interesting
guess
to
I'm
know.
assuming that the kids are from the wives, in which that necessarily is not the case, clearly, with him. So,
Yeah, I don't even know. I think this one is Laverte, the one in the black, but I'm not 100%
yeah,
sure.
well, I saw that name and I listen, I went back to the year. I said, oh, they must have been big Levert fans or something. Because, you know, that's some black people stuff, girl. And name the child Laverte. I said, oh,
Well,
the mama must love
his
Gerald
name
Levert.
well, his middle name is Lavert. Lavere, maybe
Lavelle.
L-A is either L-A. Oh, so this is the one that's in the military. So let's hear what they had to say.
Good.
You miss your sister?
Yeah.
Okay. They don't act like they miss you. Tell me why.
You tell me why. They having too much fun.
They having too much fun?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Love you too. Tell them to check up on you.
They need to. I need some fun. I'm working all the time. Just working.
All right. Love you.
Love you too.
She favor her daddy.
Sitting here at Smoothie King with my other daughter. Come here. Tell everybody to say hey.
Hi guys.
How married life for you?
Good.
You miss your sister?
Yeah.
Okay. They don't act like they miss you. Tell me why.
You tell me why. They having too much fun.
They having too much fun?
Yeah.
I wonder if everything broke up with he and the with her and her husband. But in any case, so you're enjoying this series.
Oh my gosh, can't you tell?
Okay, let me ask you another. I'm going to ask anyone else who calls in. Tell me what you think of the people that are in the comment section that are like, you should be ashamed of yourself. Black women tearing down other black women. What do you have to say to that? Is this a tear down, or what's your take on that?
They need to go and
speak to that?
They need to go find a kumbaya live that suits them for the moment. I mean, because that's some bull. I was going to say something I probably shouldn't say. I mean, then if this is not for you, go away. I mean, some things don't require a response. You understand? We're all here. This community has a mutual interest. And so if this is not your interest, then go where your interest is. I don't think it deserves a response.
Don't you think it's important? I mean,
because we're just commenting on what's on facts. It's not like nobody. We're not sitting.
Yeah, this is like a whole news story. It's not even just about black women on black women, but right.
So the fact that this man has animals and children in sexual acts, are we tearing her down by discussing that?
So perfect example. So the woman who just recently was arrested, eight passengers, the mommy, she's a Caucasian lady. Do you think that people are in the comments saying your white women are tearing down other white women? What is it? Would you like to speak? Like, what is it that people feel like speaking on a particular situation that's happening in the culture, like you're going against the culture by speaking on it?
Okay.
Isn't it a good thing that people tell their own stories? Like, shouldn't the culture tell their own stories? Everyone should be able to tell whatever story they want. That's number one. But if you're in the culture and you want to speak on a issue, something that's happening, that's important, something that could help bring some awareness to someone who may not know better, why is the perception that that's tearing down another black woman or tearing down another Latino woman, or, you know what I'm saying? Because
so I think
people talk on people all the time. Like
the people that are of that thought I think they're in the minority really in this whole situation. And sometimes it just boils down to a hit dog will holler. You know what I mean? We don't know. We don't know who's being triggered by this, by maybe their own stuff.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
mean, because I can't see, I mean, and I wanted to give Shirley some grace. I really did. Just for that very reason, just as a Black woman, and we've all been through some stuff with some, no good guy. But this is on a whole nother level. And
Absolutely.
I think they're projecting and bringing their own issues possibly into this situation. And that's
Wait,
what
give
it is.
me
It's their
1
issue.
second. Dr. A, I'll be right with you, okay? Just stand by. Okay? I know you hear me backstage. Okay. All right, keep going. I'm sorry. Please finish your thought.
That was it. I think it's a bunch of hit dogs that
Hit
are
dog
hollering.
will holler.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Because I just think, like, it's not stopping anything for me. I just find it fascinating. Like, who's going to tell the story? If we don't tell the story, who's going to tell the story? Like, it doesn't matter who tells the story. This is very important. There's a whole woman out here who is dealing with this situation. And I'm sure there's people out here to help her, but there's also people who have been victimized. Their monies have been stolen. There's people who've
Absolutely.
accuse this man of sexual assault. This is a very important story for many different reasons, and it really
Right.
does
And
need to be
where's
talked
their
about.
voice? They're talking about
Right.
protecting Shirley, but what about all the people? What about the people that she's
What about
benefited
the
from
victims?
based
Absolutely.
on his shenanigans? So, and for you, I'll just say this: focus on the 80% that are folk that support you, not the 20%.
Absolutely. Oh, yes,
And press on,
absolutely.
sister.
Thank you so much. Okay,
All
you
right.
take care now. Thank you
Okay.
for
You have a good
calling in. Take
bye.
care. All right, bye-bye. Hey, Dr. A, look at you, how pretty. Look at you.
Thank you.
What's going on, Dr. A?
Everything is going on, okay? Everything. I said, let me come up here and talk about Ernest Doo-Doo. Let me talk about him.
What do you think about this whole thing?
It is ridiculous. Like, how, first of all, I mean, okay, listen, I'm a real woman, okay? And I get like everybody deserves a second chance in life, and somebody being locked under the pool pit of the pokey, right? That's
Mhm.
okay. That happens. You know what I mean? Okay, fine. And people are entitled to change their lives. That's cool. However, however, you can't just keep doing the same old things. And I'm gonna make you wait to marry me. It's gonna be a long time, and you're not putting under my name. You can't have access to me. You can't do all that. I don't even think I would marry you at this point. I mean, and then how could she not know he was married? How could she not know that? I mean,
I mean,
like
I don't know that she would have known that he was married in the 80s. How do you think she would have needed to how if you I mean, how would she have known that? I guess if she would
background
have
check.
gotten a private detective, I don't know.
I mean,
I
with
don't
someone
know.
on her statue, when you know what I mean? I did a background check. I did a street check when I got with my husband. I did a
Well,
background
but we're
check.
talking about Shirley who does not ask questions. She's on a phone call having a conversation with her husband. He's dropping major bombs on her and she doesn't ask one follow-up question. Where in the I guess she's just trusting. And also, Steve Harvey teed him up for her at the job site. So I'm not giving that a pass. But if he if he was hunting down a divorce from wife number 2, he had a divorce from wife number 3. I don't know what the man knew. And I don't have any evidence to even know that he even attempted a divorce with wife number 1. But at the end of the day, that's on him. If he's got divorce papers from Carol, let's say, well, no, he doesn't have divorce papers from Carol, but if he has divorce papers from wife number 2, is it Martha or whatever her name is? And he says, "Surely I was married once before, and here's the divorce papers." Maybe she didn't know about wife number. We're making an assumption that she knew about wife number 1 and wife number 3, and he's showing divorce papers from wife number 2. He may have told her he'd never even been married. He just has 6 kids with a bunch of different women. She's almost damn 70 years old, and he's 50, and she was 60. So maybe that was like a lifetime ago. He might have been like, I haven't been married since the 90s. And okay. We don't know what they talked about.
I'm gonna talk to
You know what
some
I
ex.
mean? Like
I don't even have.
you're going
And
go
it's not
ahead.
it's not even a situation where I would believe everything they say, because sometimes people do lie, right? But I do know that there's a truth, there's a
Mm-hmm.
lie, there's something within it, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna piece together some stuff. I ain't gonna just take his word, and I damn sure ain't gonna take her word. But I want to talk to some ex-wives, because I want to know. I want to know the real. Are y'all divorced? I just got key questions. Like, that's the first thing I'm gonna answer. Y'all really divorced? You know what I mean?
I really do think that the way these municipalities are, when you go downtown to small town USA, that computer is not talking to small town USA in Nebraska. It's not talking to small town in LA, wherever, whatever counties. These counties and towns, these systems are not cross-referenced. That's why bigamy is a law. That's why bigamy is a felony, because it's basically an honor system that you're going and you're applying for a marriage license based on the strength of you're not married. That's why they make you sign an oath. That's why they make you take an oath when you get the marriage license. I remember doing an oath when I got my marriage license, and then we had to go do our ceremony. That's why people leave there thinking they're already married, but you're really not. You has to be officiated. But at the end of the day, you got a legal document stating that you are in a position to get married. He lied. He lied. So if he's going to lie to the state, he'll lie to her. Remember, he's a con man, right?
Right.
So she's trusting him that he's going to be her. She has no reason to know that he's going to be a liar. It's quite possible she didn't find out the depth of what she got herself into until she was already in there and had to turn a blind eye. But I mean, I would say within 6 months of their marriage, she knew something was going on, because just because of those two theft by deceptions I told you about.
But look at his eyes. He looked like a liar, but that's neither here nor there.
Stop
right?
it, Dr. A. Dr. A, stop.
But I'm just saying, okay, let's deal with the Steve Harvey situation. This is alleged, right? This is
Mhm.
alleged. Okay, so
Wait,
if
give me just 1 second. I'm here for just hold 1 second. Let me let Dr. A get a couple of points out, and then I'm going to bring you up next. Okay, sis? Okay, Dr. A, go.
Okay, so my thing is, okay, now 1 minute she said Steve Harvey hooked up with him, right? And then the
Mhm.
next minute she doubled back and comes forward. It's like, well, now he ain't really hooked me up with him. Okay, so if Steve Harvey brought him to you, well, first of all, that's a lie right there, right? There's some kind of lie right in there, right? And then if Steve Harvey hooks you up with him, I wouldn't even trust Steve Harvey, because he's with Lady Heroin, allegedly.
And you can't talk about his girl. He said leave his girl alone, okay? Stop talking on my girl.
I get that, but I'm just making a point that I'm not trusting that to find that in a mate, because if he hooked up with Lady Heron, no way that I'm gonna hook up with him. It's just all I'm trying to say. And no way I'll believe anything Steve Harvey try to hook me up with. You know what I'm talking about. And I got one more point and I'm done. And you can bring the lovely, beautiful lady up here next. Okay, I promise. Now,
Yes, ma'am.
The next thing is I probably shouldn't say this. Again,
Say it.
Inside of my head. Okay. My thing is, you know what I'm talking about. I'm just wanting to know, like, what was she thinking when she kept on getting evicted out of these places? That's what I want to know. That's all I gotta say. And I'm done. Thanks for having me up.
Rolls Royce to the sheriff's department. That's sad, right? That's very sad.
I'm just saying. I just that's all I want to know. It's like, what was her thoughts when she kept getting evicted, when cars was being snatched? And I know somebody was
And
calling
he
her
kept getting arrested.
exactly. And I know somebody was calling her like, Miss Shirley, you know Ernesto is my man. You know that was going down. You know she was getting them calls now. You know she was like, Shirley, do. You know what I mean?
Hey, where's Pineapples? Hey, Shirley, this is Barbara.
Exactly. We're not gonna play this game. Okay, that's all I got.
Okay, Dr. A. Take care. Have a good night, okay? Bye. See you later. Take care. Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Thank you for coming up.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to say, this is better than any reality TV show that they've had in years. Like, how could you even believe that this is happening in somebody's real life? This many twists and turns. And that's just the stuff that, people like you have been able to dig up. What about all the things that we don't even know about, or the
Okay.
bombs that are going to get dropped in trial?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. And for me, I keep thinking to myself, why would a woman of Shirley's caliber, she's beautiful, she has
Mm-hmm.
a great job, she seems articulate, why would she put up with a nesto? I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt that maybe before they got married, she didn't fully know who he was. But when she has the audacity to say that you got arrested, what was it, 4 months or 5 months after we got married?
Yep.
Okay, the gig was up then. At this point, I just think it's willful ignorance. I
Mm-hmm.
think that what's probably been going on in their life, all these things have been going on, but they're kind of behind the scenes. Nobody really knows it, because she's famous, but she's not famous enough.
Right.
So Nesto's been doing all these shenanigans that he does. They've been kicked out of all these different places. Her check has been garnished. She sells her house for less than it's worth to get money for what reason we don't quite know. She has a bad relationship with her daughter because of him. She's alienating friends because of him. And now everybody knows. Just by happenstance, somebody's like, wait a minute, that's Shirley Strawberry's husband. Like, the man was
Mm-hmm.
almost in jail for a full, what was it, like 6 or 8 months, and nobody knew. And she didn't say one word about it.
Well, she was asked about it. I don't know if it was Sylvia last night. Maybe it
Mhm.
was Sylvia, that there was an article in People magazine.
Wow.
I believe that was Sylvia. If it wasn't last night, it was the night before last.
Uh-huh.
That there was some sort of a write up, and they were asking her about some rumors regarding her husband and had he been
Mhm.
arrested, and she said absolutely no. Now,
Wow.
I would have to find it because I was listening, and to be able to kind of read you the article for myself. But I believe it could have been, because sometimes I'm listening very late at night.
Mhm.
um because my good old dogs will wake me up at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I
Right.
have trouble going back to sleep, so I'll start listening to something, and then I'm like, when did I hear that? Was that a day or two ago? But Sylvia had something. If I can put my hands on the timestamp, then I'll drop it for you guys,
Mhm.
so you can go back and listen to and find the article for yourselves. Or if I can find the article, I'll just drop it on a
Okay.
community post. But
Okay.
she stated that no, that the rumors were not true, and the time period I think that was quoted, that was a
Mhm.
lie. That was a lie. And maybe, okay, in all honesty, maybe she didn't want people to know, and okay,
Mhm.
that's fine. But
Right.
I don't know. To me, I think it's very embarrassing being caught out there in a lie. I would rather be embarrassed by knowing something embarrassing happened, or something that I would prefer people not to know, and just own up to it, rather than
Right.
sit there and try to lie, because coming back from a lie is
Mhm.
very hard, because I think people can accept shit happens in people's lives. Nobody's life
Mhm.
is perfect. But when you
Right.
start lying to people, that's a problem. That's a
Yeah.
problem. You lose credibility. You don't lose credibility by lifing. You lose
Right.
credibility by lying.
Yeah.
That's the problem, right? No one's life is perfect. There's a lot that's gone on in most everyone's lives that you just would rather people not know about, or you're not going to discuss.
Mhm.
Let me see. Nephew Tommy used to prank as Nestor was on the air live. That was so funny, Tony B. Yeah. Shirley has, unfortunately for Shirley, she has allowed herself to rather than getting in front of this. I think we've talked about this before. Rather than
Mhm.
getting in front of this situation, Shirley
Yeah.
has put herself, and I'm going to that's my opinion. I feel like she has put herself in a position where
Mhm.
she is having to do damage control, and it's really her
Right.
own fault. This is all her fault. Just like this is Nesto's fault, this is her fault. No, she didn't have to come out and say, "Hey, everybody, my husband's in the clink." But
Right.
when it started happening, she could have just said, "Look, we're going through a personal time, and I'd rather not talk about it." and we're
Mhm.
going to let the legal system do what it does. And when we have an update, we'll let you know. And boom, that's it. Like, just said
Yeah.
something. I think she tried to avoid it, lie about it, and now she's looking crazy.
Let me ask you, do you think, like when she did the whole apology on the morning show, which was really not an apology, it was just a chance for Steve to jump in and talk about
Mm-hmm.
his girl. Okay,
Yeah.
so do you think that she cut ties with him because of what she's found out about the charges, or is it about the other woman? What do you think is that's making her cut ties with him?
I'm going to be honest. I think, and of course, I'm going based on me too, because I don't know Shirley. I would just have to imagine that if she had at any moment to sit down with the police, okay, he forged your daughter's signature. I think she has been able to compartmentalize something with that. I
Mhm,
think that whether he was talking to Sonia or not, I think the CP
mhm,
and the aggravated sexual assault
mhm,
quite possibly is maybe what made her make her decision. But if he has been able to articulate to her for any reason at all why it would not be his fault,
mhm,
she's still in there. Now the pictures in his computer, if he's got some sort of lie as to why those pictures were there are
mhm.
people who are in the comments that said that they couldn't even listen to the depiction. For me, I listened. I would have to break off, come back, listen, because it was hard to listen to because I
Mhm,
am an animal lover. I've got a
mhm,
daughter of a certain age. It's really disgusting in our society. We don't, that's not something that we condone at all. And it's quite vile. And some knowing something like that about someone that you're intimate with, I think would absolutely disgust me. And
mhm,
also we know the psychology behind it. If you're looking at the images, the acts could possibly be not too far away. That's
mhm,
why it's illegal. And we don't know what he's been into in his lifetime. So it's quite possible maybe that has swayed her away from her husband, well, her quote unquote husband.
mhm.
Because I don't think, I mean, nothing else scared her away. The theft by deception, I mean,
Yeah,
they've been dealing with that.
yeah.
The arrest, she's been dealing with that. Him not
Mhm,
coming home, they've been dealing with
mhm.
that. You never looked in his backpack with the leather mask,
This is
the sex
weird to
toys
me,
and the
very
liquid V.
weird.
Like, he's had a lot of mess with him, and I mean, they're 8 years in.
They're 8
So
years in, that's crazy to me. So I'm
so
like, "Okay, she had to be with the mess." Not
yeah.
necessarily with it, but willing to turn a blind eye to it.
We don't know what those two are involved, like, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. We don't know what they're involved in sexually. Let's just put it that way.
Mhm,
We just don't know. But I would hope that the pictures scared her enough about what type of individual he is, the sexual assault, and just kind of like, look, this is however many times this has happened, and this has been
mhm,
happening since 1979.
mhm.
He's been a teenager getting in trouble, and now he's a man well into his 50s. He's got a 40-year his track record
Right.
of not too long not being in trouble. um I mean, at a certain point, you gotta, I mean, and then let's just also say it like this too. Shirley could be with the shits. Shirley might like a little bit of a bad guy.
Mhm. Yeah.
Shirley might like a little bit of a roughneck. I
Mhm.
mean, I mean, Bonnie and Clyde, okay, yeah. Bonnie was
Yeah.
over there shooting up and robbing the banks with Clyde, right? We've seen, if you hadn't seen the movie, Bonnie was just as much with the bank robberies and the killings and all the things, just like everybody in that little crew was. So, um,
Also, though, but I've heard it said, but I don't know if she maybe look, she gotta get her money up. Okay, she implied that she's stepping out of the marriage, which would cause you to have to file paperwork. They say no paperwork has been filed.
so what I have to say is that to that is quite possibly she has become aware that she is not married and no
Oh,
divorce
well,
is
that's true.
required.
That's true.
and maybe just an annulment. But
Mhm.
I think that because Shirley is really on the cover up, I think this, so my opinion, I think that Shirley is the type of person that rather, she's more of like a damage control type. So now
Mhm.
that she said divorce proceedings, oops, no divorce proceedings, because oh God, we're not married. Now I have to get an annulment. So now I have to tell the world. Shirley is in this problem because this is where she wanted to be. And this
Right.
is her problem to have to fix. Shirley had been warned by numerous people that this man was going to bring you down. And I'm not saying this in a bad way, but she is reaping the harvest of the seeds that she has planted.
No,
This
that's
is
true.
all that she wanted this. You got it, sis. You got to have to deal with it. So you're going to have to eat the humble pie and tell people that he really played you. He was married to another woman, didn't handle his business. Your marriage is null and void. He's been talking to numerous other people. Like he's had a lot going. Like, this is all you, sis.
Mhm.
I mean, I feel bad for her just on the sense of, wow, this is awful. But how many different warnings,
Yeah.
notifications, and everything did you have to get to
Yeah.
understand that this is what was happening? You can deny it, you can
Mhm.
compartmentalize it, you can justify it, you can do so many different things, but like they say, the chickens have come home to roost, and she gonna have to backpedal. I just wonder, is she gonna be able to keep her job? Are they going to
Yeah,
help
I've been
her
thinking
crisis
about that
manage out of
too.
this thing?
Yeah.
Because she needs a
Right.
crisis manager. She really
Are
does.
they going to renew her contract? They probably wouldn't outright fire her, but they might do her like they did Wanda Smith on the radio. They just didn't renew her contract, and it was
Just
what it
kind of, yeah,
was.
like, okay, well, thank you for your service. I mean, it's going to be unfortunate, but Steve, with the look, with the sexual assault and the CP,
Mhm.
I'm just trying to figure out when it's going to get to Steve that he might need to separate. Like, if she's not willing to, maybe she is separating from him, but I really, something in my gut tells me she's still with this guy. I don't know it for
I
a
do
fact or
too.
not.
I feel like
I,
she's
I
low
just,
key still with him. I do.
yeah, because
Yeah.
he's able to really convince her that everything is someone else's fault. And
Mhm.
she has really invested in him. She has invested her coin. She has invested her name. She has basically broken off every relationship with anyone that means something to her.
And they're
Um,
all haters, remember?
Everyone's a hater.
Yeah.
And someone's saying that my mom had dementia at 70. I don't know if she has some form of dementia, or is she just a dingbat? I mean, at the end
Yeah.
of the
I think
day,
more like a
I don't know that
dingbat,
she
yeah.
has dementia. I think she is dingy, like for real. I don't know that it's dementia, because she doesn't seem to be forgetting anything. Um, she doesn't seem to be confused. Sis seems to be making actual choices.
And
Um,
even with him being in jail, like, she's so submissive and she acts dumb, like she doesn't know how to do anything. It's ridiculous. I just don't like, how did she make it this far in life? She's almost 70 years old. That's
um,
crazy.
I think she had a very easy, cushy job, and she liked to shop and socialize. They've had a very steady kind of crew over there at the Steve Harvey show. She had her one
Mhm.
daughter. Her
Yeah.
mother was helping her raise her daughter. She's kind of had she's been soft lifing it.
Yeah.
She's probably one of, like, I wouldn't say she invented soft life, but she, like, single mom soft life, making good
Mhm.
money, but buying
Yeah.
designer clothes, getting your hair done, having someone help her take care of her daughter. Sis was living the good single black female with a little bit of extra coin, high profile soft life, if anybody else was.
Even the
And
fact
then he
that
came
she is
through and
strapped, she was
uh-huh.
strapped for money when you hear
Mhm.
her talking. She has to pay a lawyer, she has to pay her daughter's rent, she has to pay all these things, she can't afford to get a car. She's living in someone else's bedroom at their house, their spare bedroom, and she's worried about living in Buckhead. Like, it doesn't make any sense. This lady is crazy. She is
She's
delusional.
not grasping with the reality of what's actually really going on. Like, Shirley, you're in financial ruin, sis. You like, sis, stuff is bad. She's all about this ring. She's enjoying. I think the fact that he seems to, because I mean, if you look, no matter how Ernesto is living, Sir is buying into the middle-aged man fantasy
Yeah.
of being a husband. And as corny as it seems today in 2023, it's not corny to me, but for some people, marriage means nothing. Ernesto finds value in this relationship, not just because it's Shirley, but he doesn't have a problem profiling being a married man. Even though his Instagram says man about town, well dressed, nice cars, he profiles this woman as his wife. Part of
Right.
his branding is being a husband. Okay.
It's being
And
Shirley's husband, not just
well, being
anybody's
Shirley's
husband.
husband, but it's still being
Yeah.
a husband. And for
Yeah.
some people, they don't find the value in Shirley, but they see this man, because there's a lot of women in here. You see this black love, all these things. Some of these people don't give a shit about Shirley. This is for some
Yeah.
women who have like low self-esteem and don't mind having an affair, this is a turn on. Like, they're
Oh,
turned
of
on by
course.
this, and they
Of
will
course.
actually jump in his DMs because he's a guy who can make a commitment, even though he's not in
Yeah.
he's in a marriage, quote unquote. But they're gonna try him because people like to try to take what someone else has and all of these
Yeah.
things. But it's
Yeah.
very much of a status symbol for a man at a certain point in his life to be married. It's like having a good car, a good house, a nice job, a good cigar, drinking the best whiskeys, all of these things, these status symbols. He enjoys the status of married. He wears his ring. He likes to show off what he's done for Shirley. This is part of his brand. This is part
Yeah,
of his
that's
brand.
it. You're
He
pointing out some
enjoys
very
this
key
about her.
things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he enjoys this about her.
Mhm.
And I think that he did these things pumping her gas. We don't know that he was beating her up. We don't know. I mean,
Oh, I don't think
he did
I don't
abuse
think so.
her in the
Yeah.
sense that look at the, I mean, he's trying. I don't know if he went to get some instruction on how to have manners, things like that, but he puts on his tuxedo. He is he is escorting her to balls, and but when you hear him open that mouth, it's a disaster.
It
But
is, isn't it?
he wants to be, like I keep saying, he wants to be Kevin Samuels. He wants to be that black man
High
with
value.
the high value man. He's been opting in for this high value lifestyle, and Shirley helped him get into it. She was able to kind of validate him a little bit, but he's been
Right.
working on himself.
Right.
He's been working on himself. But sis, do you have any other closing remarks? We've got one more person calling in.
Oh,
But
no, I
I
just want to
enjoyed talking
say
to you so much. Thank
you
you for
too. Great
calling.
show, and
Oh,
I'm
thank
loving
you.
your commentary, and I'll drop down into the comments. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Take care. Have a wonderful
All right.
weekend. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Okay, I'm getting to the next caller. Let me put this up hello.
Hello, can you hear
Hi.
me?
Yes, how are you?
I'm good. I have thought about coming up 5 times. I've tried this 5 times because
Oh,
I
well,
am,
welcome.
well, hey, I love your show. First of
Oh,
all, I'm
thank
on both of
you.
your channels and I'm at work in the morning listening and cracking up. You get me through my day,
Oh,
for real, seriously.
oh,
I've never
thank
been on
you.
the mommy side, but I was like, you got me hooked now. So Jasmine and all them other little girls, it's hilarious. That's hilarious. But
And
okay, let me
I
come back
love
to this.
being a mother. I mean, I think becoming a mother was one of the best things that ever happened to me in my life, on top of meeting and marrying my husband. And I so appreciate it. And definitely kind of the mommy sector is fun for me. And surely being a mom, it's just kind of like, I know we don't talk about that enough, of the whole thing with her and Sheridan, but it does bother me what she's done with Sheridan, because for obvious reasons. But yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you. So what do you think
Well,
about the topic tonight?
well, because you mentioned that, and that's really how I found you and everybody else. Sylvia, I already knew about Pam, but I hadn't really been on her channel as much. So I was so intrigued because I really got hooked when she did her so-called apology.
Mm.
That's when I was like, okay, I got to learn what's going on because she don't sound right, and this is not making sense. That's number
It
one.
it doesn't make any sense. It didn't. It may have been okay to people out who are not with us, like in the deep dive, in the, in on the internet watching, because people on TikTok, they're doing it, Facebook, everything. The people who are just listening on the radio were probably like, "Oh, okay, Shirley, we got you. Okay, can you play the Ohio Players? Like, are you playing Earth, Wind, and Fire next?" And that's it. Like, and they're good.
Well, and I, being honest, stopped listening to the Steve Harvey show a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just don't think that he was really credible to give advice with the strawberry letter. And some of the things they used to say, I'm like, this is not making sense for real life. I'm a married woman almost 25 years,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the things they were saying just did not come across well with me. So that bothered me. So I just stopped listening to them. But I kind of want to tell you something that maybe give us some clarity about her and her daughter. Because everybody keeps saying like they feel sorry for her. Why is she paying her bills and this, that, and the other? This is not about me, but it's about me. This is a triggering topic for me. Okay, I was
Mm.
married. I mean, my mother was married to an awful man, but she loved that man. She
Mm.
loved that man, and I'm the oldest child. So everything I went through because she loved that man, and she was not gonna leave him. That's the make it light and make some people understand. I can see how Shirley is that kind of woman because when he starts to talk about her child, does she ever correct him?
Never.
Never. You know why? She loved that man. She
More than she
loved
loves her child, and that's because she didn't
that.
raise her.
That it's not just because she didn't raise her. She loved that man. There are certain women in life that have to have a man, and when they attach themselves to a man, nothing else matters in life. And from experience, through therapy and the things I've had to go through in my life, now being a grown up, having my own child, and realizing how women can really put themselves, immerse themselves. Because remember, listen to what she keeps saying about God and all of this. But God did not say, when your husband is a dog, allow him to dog your child. Now,
Absolutely
one
not.
time, yeah, one time she corrected him, but we're hearing this on phone calls. Can you imagine when they were together in the same house, how he treated her daughter? This is not new. She wasn't even phased by what he was saying. That's an issue for me, growing up in a situation where I've experienced that. My stepdad used to tell me, because he married my mom when I was 4. He used to tell me I could tell her anything and she's gonna believe me.
Mm.
He used to do that. He would lie on me and my mama would whoop me and never ask me anything. She took his word for everything. So the abuse I suffered, she never could wrap her head around it. And that's just to keep it nice. So to see the kind of man he is to people on the outside, I can only imagine how he was to her daughter when he got the chance. And she don't even realize it.
Yeah, I don't I wonder, because it seemed like they had a relationship. They were riding around, they were sitting at the outdoor concert. I mean, I don't know what kind of relationship they had. I feel like um Shirley opened the door and he walked through it, as far as whenever something seemed to go bad with him and Sheridan. And Ernesto is the type of person that, I guess, if things are going good, they're going good. If they're going bad, he's going to find someone to blame it on. And I don't know what happened with them, but as far as using her name for lease, and you know, fraud, and if they signed her name, they used her name, they used her credit, all of those things. I mean, if Shirley is going to willing to turn a blind eye on that, and also he doesn't even really try to like, he's just blaming her for everything, Sheridan, and then also seems to find some joy in Shirley's misery about her daughter, and Shirley has a lot of guilt about raising her child. I think that's part of the con. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know how much abusing of Sheridan, if at all anything happened, but what there is that Shirley holds a lot of mom guilt about her not being there and putting her job in front of her daughter. What Shirley seems to have is a history of putting other things in front of her daughter, and maybe her daughter, now becoming a mother, understands what being a mother is about, and maybe her daughter is now having some resentment and hostility with knowing like she actually had another choice. She didn't have to do that. So she put her job in front of me. She's putting Ernesto in front of me. She believes him over me. And maybe she just always feels like second. I don't know. But we know that Shirley had a bad relationship with her mother. She said she doesn't even think her mother liked her. And it doesn't sound like she likes Sheridan, because she's convincing herself that Sheridan doesn't like her.
Yeah, and when I'm saying about that, I'm not saying that he abused her in that way because she was older,
Mhm.
but I can see how he manipulated the relationship between
Absolutely.
Shirley and
Yes,
her daughter
absolutely.
to the point where he could say things about her and Shirley not believe her. She could have told her things about him, like one of the other callers was saying, and Shirley say, "No, he didn't do that," or "I'm going to talk to him." And when she finished talking to him, she's on his side. You see what I'm saying? That
Mhm.
manipulation piece that he plays with Shirley, because even with the phone calls, he knows how to bring God up, and and then her thought process of people are jealous of us. She is, because she doesn't have a good relationship with her child. She could even think her child is jealous that she has this
Absolutely.
man
Yeah, she's one of the
driving her
haters now.
around in these cars, and she
Mhm.
lives this life, and my daughter's just mad because she wants it. Not, that's the problem with the situation, because he's first over
He's
everything.
able to be first by continuing her hitting on her trigger of her bad relationship with her daughter. So
Yes.
he does manipulate that, because when Shirley's having a down moment about her and her daughter, he doesn't do anything to say, it's not that bad. I mean, he'll say here and there, the
No.
grandkids will come back, don't worry about it, but he doesn't do anything to soothe her anxiety regarding her relationship with her daughter. If anything, he makes it worse. Like, yeah, I can't believe that girl came for me. Why would she do that? I've been nothing but good to her. And she's like, I know you have been good to her. Why would she do that? I told her not to talk to the police. Well,
But
Shirley,
that's another
they
problem
signed her
too.
name to a contract that she doesn't have any business with.
Right, and that's another one of my problems too. Why did Shirley tell him that? That's an issue. Why did Shirley tell him how her daughter was feeling about the situation? Because it was almost like letting him know, but I'm not going to go against you. I'll never betray you like my daughter. See, I'm a loyal one. I told her
Yes.
don't
Mhm.
do it. She was just afraid, but see, I'm not afraid. I'm down with you to the end. That's the way she talks with him.
Yeah.
God is
Yes.
gonna get you out of it. You're like Job. I was like, how is he like Job? Because he got himself in prison. Job didn't get himself in prison. I was
Yeah,
like, did you know that
Job
story
was
for
one
real?
of the most faithful servants. I mean, she really does use the story out of context. Job was one of the most faithful servants, and God was talking to his fallen angel and said, "If you can get him, you can have him, but he is my most loyal." Ernesto is none of that. So
No.
I don't even when she starts talking about Job, I'm like, "God, there she goes again with the sermonette, going ahead and trying to put him on some sort of pedestal." He is not the most faithful servant. Job was not in prison. Job was living his best life, and was trying to figure out what the hell happened. Ernesto was living his not his most best life. And what's happening to him is a direct result of what he was doing. Job got blindsided, to use the word someone else was used in the chat, by the wrath of the devil, and Job did not waver from his loyalty and his surrendering to God. He'd never forsaked his love for God, even when he was inflicted with everything and his neighbors turned against him because they were like, you really must have done something awful for all of this wrath to be upon you. And he'd done nothing. Like, she really does use the story way, way, way out of context, but it is what it is. Like, they are very warped. And unfortunately, there are people who do feel like because Shirley is in her word that she's a virtuous woman, and it's unfortunate because Shirley is with the shits. Shirley likes this gangster type dude, and Shirley is dealing with what she's dealing with because this is what she wanted. She wanted this. She likes this. She likes this guy. She loves this guy, and she's having to clean up his mess. Now, whether she's with him or not, we don't know, but I'm going to be honest, she shouldn't be. So it wouldn't surprise me if she's walked away, but it would not. And I promise you, it wouldn't surprise me. It would surprise me less to find out that she's still there. If she's gone, I'd be like, oh God, good for you, girl. You did that. If she's still with him, I feel like, okay, well, okay. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Me
It,
either.
it, it wouldn't surprise me.
I really feel like she's gonna go down with the ship. This is her last effort in love. She probably feels he did do good things for her, even though it was on somebody else's bank account. I mean, look,
Yes.
she's sporting a $20,000 ring that nobody else around her has. So therefore, what are you talking about? I'm living the life with this man. I don't know what all these people are talking about he did to them.
Yeah.
That's their problem. Because when I was driving these cars and I had security, because to me that made her more of a celebrity too. Why do you have security driving her around? Who is she? I mean,
You would think she was like the ambassador from the Bahamas, girl. Like
it was,
she's
and she talked about that. What about my protection? What do you need?
he
What is going?
he's got her isolated. He has her afraid. That's what. So people were asking, well, why did Lamont need to take her to TSA? He's got her thinking that people were going to come for her in the G-Wagon and come try and take her ring. I think that he had her feeling some type of way that she, that maybe she, not so much that she was in danger, but that she needs to be careful. You're my cotton candy. I think that was just another way to isolate her. That was
Yes,
just
and I
another way
think
to
she
isolate
also
her
has an
and get her
elevated vision
thinking.
of herself.
Mm-hmm.
She's elevated her own self as well. Because when she said that about what Margie had at the house, I do agree that she was trying to be on that level. I mean, think about how long she's worked with Steve. I should be there. I should have what Margie has in the house. He
Well,
married
yeah.
her and
I
made
mean,
her
she should
bad.
have. But you know what? Then she should have been like Oprah, and she should have been like all these other women, Gail. She should have been like all these other women who worked really hard or attached themselves to people, like into a network of people who were going to lift you up as they were lifting you up, not just like keep you in their pocket. Um
Yeah.
there's one thing about, keeping your team with you, but there's also something about, as you're growing, have your team grow with you. And it's funny how you see some people as they grow, they grew up other people and helped them meet their goals, and they're having their best life too. And then there's other people who've been kept on payroll. I would find it really weird that if my friend, my buddy, my coworker, and I'm working with you and you are slowly becoming almost like a billionaire, and yes, I make $500,000 a year and that's a nice salary, but where was my talk show? Where's my connect? Where's my this? Where's my that? Um Nene Leakes has even talked about that, where she feels like where the whole thing with her and Bethany Frankel, they did an interview recently, and Nene's like, we came out onto Bravo at the same time, and to see where Bethany is and where I am, it makes me feel some type of way. And I don't think she meant it from like a jealous standpoint, but she did
Right.
admit, like, well, maybe I didn't do the same things that Bethany was doing. Like, she didn't, Bethany talked about she lived in a very small apartment until she actually really, really made money and then she bought something. She was very frugal with her money because she had gone broke so many times. Nene had been married and had Greg, and Nene was living a certain lifestyle as a housewife. So she was kind of a little bit different. Bethany made different choices. And I think that was also what she was reconciling now, being a woman in her 50s, a widow, not sure if she should get married, and seeing like, I would like to be doing better. And maybe I should have made some different choices in terms of business, which would have had me further ahead. So seeing Bethany Frankel made her feel like a little bit behind, because she knows that she's just as good, if not better, and could be exactly where Bethany is. And I think she was talking from a place of motivation, certainly not hate. And I think that Shirley
Right.
should have been somewhere. I mean, there's a lot of women who came up at the same time as her, and include like Wendy Williams. I mean, Wendy's only in her 50s, close to 60, I guess. But there's a lot of women who have been doing this thing for a long time, even just the talk show circuits, the Sally Jesse Raphaels, all these things. There's been plenty of women, Rolanda Watts, all these women who have done a lot in broadcasting, radio, television. And you're sitting here next to Steve Harvey, and sis, you're broke. So I don't
Right.
know. It's it,
And
it
and I think you spot on. I mean, look, really, and I don't think that she was feeling like I should have made different decisions. I think she's very comfortable in her life had it kept going well. If this
right.
problem
Okay.
didn't come
Yes.
up, she was fine.
Yes,
That wasn't her
she
issue.
was fine being his wife, going to her job.
Yes.
Everybody doesn't want to be a megastar. I get it. Absolutely. So everyone
And
doesn't want to be running like Kris Jenner, Jenner Communications. Everybody doesn't want to do that. She might just be happy going, doing her little job, making her good money, and enjoying her husband. So yes, I agree. Absolutely.
yeah. And I think somebody else brought it up on another, I don't know, panel or something, where she talked about how when she used to listen to the old show they had way before he became who he is, and how he would talk derogatory, and she still stayed. She doesn't have that concept of I'm being treated bad, let me walk away and find my own thing. She's loyal to a fault. That's what it
Mm-hmm.
also seems like. Like she's that woman who works her whole life at the same job, only to find out people are getting hired around her making way more money. And but
Yes.
she doesn't, she's mad, but she doesn't say anything. She just keep working till she retire. She kind of seems like that type of woman too. So, she has her own issues on top of what she's going through. So it is kind of sad to look at her life in this way, because you don't want to be in your 70s and thinking, all of the things I could have accomplished, or where I should be in life right now in my 70s. She should be retiring. My mom is like her age, and my mom just retired, bought her a brand new car. She's not on the phone with her jail. I mean, my mom came a long way. When she got rid of
Mm-hmm.
that man, she came a long way. But I'm proud of her now, looking at her now, that she's loving life as a retired woman, and she's doing for herself. And to hear Shirley, who made all this money all these years, say she can't even get an apartment, and he's
It's
telling her to buy
awful.
a Kia, and she said, "Oh, so you want me to be regular?" When she said that, it took me out. It took me out. So now you want me to be regular. So that's what I'm saying about that elevated sense of self that she has too. Is really messing her up,
If they
and
don't
that's what she's
renew
trying to
her
figure out.
contract, I would hate to know her. If I knew her, I would hate to know her if she finds out she does not get that contract renewed, because
They're gonna have to
she's gonna
lock
be in
her
a
up.
world of trouble, and she's gonna have to figure out if people even want to hear this story so she can sell it and make some money, because she has turned everybody away. Another reason why I would think that she would still stay with him is because she is what else does she have? Like, she's turned everyone away. She's finding out that Dion and all these people have not been loyal. Um, they're not for them as a couple. They are for Nesto. Those people,
Yeah.
his kids, his people, they don't care anything about her because they're there for him. And they're talking to her, but behind her back, they're not honoring their relationship to which she at one time believed to be his wife. Um, it's a mess. It's a mess.
It's a whole
Um,
mess. It's a whole
so
mess. But thank you. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
absolutely. So what do you think? I mean, I guess it's kind of a foregone conclusion about these charges. I mean, look, I think it's just a matter of time until they get everything buttoned up to where he can actually sit for a trial. Um, I don't, what do you think about the case? So we know what Shirley's situation is it's heartbreaking. I'm not sitting around crying for her, but it's a very unfortunate set of circumstances. But I do stand on Shirley had a lot of opportunity to turn her back and to make things right for herself or to walk away from this situation. So I feel bad for her, but also she's just going to have to deal with it. She's a grown woman. She got to handle her business. But what do you think, I guess, about as it relates to the case, just these crimes, all of the things, everything that you've heard, everything that's been put together. What are your thoughts on what Nesto's been up to on the streets?
It's really interesting about Nisto because he plays the good guy so well. He makes you think, if you just listening to the calls and take it for face value, he almost seems like he could have been a lovable guy to a lot of people. He's taking care of all these people. But the one thing, if you ever thought he was innocent, anybody, I know you did, but I'm just saying, if anybody ever thought he was innocent, when she talked about getting that truck and they took his computer, it was
Mm.
dead silent. That was the guilt right
He
there.
knew it was he
That
knew it
said
was a
everything I
wrap.
needed to know. That was he said, "Oh, they took the computer. That was it." That's he knows it's over. He knows it.
He said, "That was
When
my
she talked
business.
about
That was all my
yeah,
business operations, my papers, everything."
yeah,
Yeah,
that was the business he was in. That's why.
yeah.
Yeah, that was his business. That was the real business he was in. The
Mhm.
flossing was for everybody else. The real business was on that computer, what they found.
Mhm.
And he knows it's a wrap. So now remember that one of those calls you played when she talked about how Steve was basically telling her basically she needs to move on.
Mhm.
She was upset about that. Like, how dare he say that? This is my husband. You're gonna tell me to leave my husband? That's how I was taking it the way she was talking about it.
Yeah, because so what to your point right there before you say anything else, she did not know that her marriage wasn't valid. She did not know that. I don't think Shirley seems like the type to put on a fake marriage, even though she might be a little fugazi. I don't see her putting on a fake marriage. But go like what were you saying about her being kind of
Oh, I was
offended or
just
taken back by Steve saying you need to go
she
on
was
with your life?
she was offended, but he was trying to let her know, yeah, you may need to go on in so many words. She didn't catch it.
Well,
He was
Steve
letting her
said,
know. No, I'm
mhm.
talking about Nesto. Nesto was trying to tell her at that
Okay, okay,
moment.
okay. Yes, yes,
Because see,
yes.
he's guilty. He knows he's guilty. He know what he's done. He know all of the stuff. But when they took the computer, that was like the nail in the coffin for him. He knows
Mhm.
that. She may not know it, but he knows it. So when she was talking about how she was kind of, upset of Steve saying that to her, then basically he was kind of let her, kind of
Mm.
trying to say, hey, you may need to go on and do what you got to do. He's not telling you wrong. I understand you're upset, but he may not be telling you
We may
wrong.
need to go back to that call tomorrow when
Go
she
back to that
that
call
was
because I
back in
listened to it 2 or 3
December when
times.
she said when she said you're not talking about divorce, are you? We might need to play some sad music on that. You're not talking well, no, 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 I don't mean that, but while I'm in here, I think he might
He
have
was
been
trying to
playing the
tell her.
long game with her. I mean, I don't know. Maybe did he fall in love with her at some point? I don't know, but he might have been playing the long game with her. I mean, she might have been the longest con that he had because maybe initially it was to get some of her money, her coin, her favor, her contacts, all of that. But maybe along the way, he did kind of enjoy the life with her. Maybe she is a nice companion and she's classy and was able to teach him some things. And she does love him, and a man does love a woman who loves him. So,
I think he
I
has
don't.
two sides to him. I think he has two sides to him. I mean,
Mhm.
he's human, so he's capable of loving someone. I mean, even like the videos you showed of him and his children, he seems like he's a loving father if you look at it on face value and you didn't know all the other stuff.
Right.
So to her, not knowing the other stuff, they probably had good times. I mean, they were traveling, going around. He had her
And
protected.
knowing that he's a little shady, he's got some little shady business dealings, but I don't
Right,
get into you keep it like, I hate to put Phaedra in it. Let me drop my banner. But whatever
girl. Okay,
Apollo was doing, you keep that over there, and I'm a whole lawyer over here, and just
right.
keep it clean. Don't bring that stuff home or whatever. And when she found out that he was dealing in illegal, because I don't care what anyone says. I know some people felt like Phaedra was dirty, but if the FBI got involved, they weren't protect Phaedra for what? they
That's different.
they took who they needed to take. Phaedra wasn't involved. Phaedra didn't get in she didn't have any problems. Apollo was back up to no good, and Apollo went away, So at the end of the day, I do believe Phaedra did not know anything because they had no problem locking up other real housewives, none at all. So I don't think Phaedra got any extra favors. I think Shirley liked the fact that he was a little bit of a roughneck. He's got his businesses, but as far as to the extent that they're in trouble right now, I don't think she bargained for that, but I think she liked a little bit of his gangsterish ways.
Oh yeah, and he made her feel special. I mean, it's just like the D boy, the big
Mhm.
time D boy back in the day, and now. The main girl is a special girl, okay? Now she
Mhm.
got to deal with all the baby mamas. She got to deal with all the stuff, but her
Mhm.
house is fat compared to all these girls that he mess with on the
Right.
street. As long as you don't bring them home, and we kicking it. Like he's bringing me money. I'm flossing. I'm buying stuff. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm living big. That's how
Yeah.
I feel like Shirley. Really, to me, that's what Shirley makes me think about. Back in the '90s, the big.
And
I'm
she's
crazy,
of that
baby. Even though she,
generation.
yes. So this was
She's
so what she knows.
and
She
she
didn't,
travels. She has a job where she's here, there, and everywhere. He had a lot of freedom. She said he wasn't home a lot. I bet you she wasn't home a lot either. They don't have any little kids.
and
I
that was
mean,
her life, and she was cool with that.
mhm.
She's hurt that he's not there, that he's not available to just drop in on her. She's hurt by that. I don't think she's so because like that affidavit you wrote and you
Oh my
read about
God.
what she wrote, and she said if he wants to come and stay with me, I was just like, please
Poor
tell me
thing.
you
It's
did
like
not
bless
say
her
that.
heart.
You did not say. So it's like it
Shirley,
just
it's like
keeps
Shirley, it's
coming.
over, sis. You got to move on, boo boo.
Please,
He's not
please.
coming
And
home,
then
hun.
can I just bring up Sonya? I can't take Sonya. Why is Sonya working in somebody's lawyer's office? Who allowed her to be a paralegal? This girl is. We need a show just on her. We
On
need
Sonia,
her.
on the side
Yes,
chick.
yes.
On
I
We
mean,
need to have
all
a
the
show
crazy
on
information.
side chick
She
awareness.
is
Okay.
she is like the epitome side chick. Like she should be on the show on We the Fighter Girl because she's okay with Shirley and everything. What
When he said
she said the
Mrs.
wife?
Williams, I spoke to the wife, I spoke to Mrs. Williams, and
And
she
she
was
was
like,
okay.
who? Wait,
Oh,
who? Oh, okay,
okay.
whatever.
Uh-huh. But
She
you're
didn't like
calling
him
his
saying Mrs.
lawyer,
Williams. Yeah,
but
she
you're
didn't like
calling
that.
the lawyer that the wife is paying for. You gotta know that. And she's
She's a
okay with
certain
it.
quality type chick. She's a low down.
Yeah.
She's low
And when she
down.
went through her bankruptcy, she just like him. She done scammed and stuff too. This is not a big deal. She's like, look, let me tell you, So I called the lawyer. She's talking about his cases and all that. It was hilarious to me because she down for it. She's okay with that.
And
She's
he's just
all
using her. He's really
for
just
the
using
legal
her.
advice.
He needs legal advice and he needs someone to run around and do phone calls because he knows Shirley is busy and she's trying to go get her hair done. Even with no car, even with the police pulling
Yes.
up on her, Shirley got to go get her nails done the other day. Like 3 days
Because he is
after
not gonna
she's
look
on a call
bad.
with him talking about, I need to go get my nails done. How am I going to get there? I'm thinking to myself, don't they have Uber in Atlanta? She never
But
mentioned Uber. She never mentioned Lyft. She needed her own car to drive.
first of all, why would she do that when she don't even want to buy a Kia? You mean you gonna call Uber to come and pick me up when I'm a protected woman that's been riding around in Bentleys and
In
Hummers and
Rolls Royces? Yeah.
Rolls Royces? Why would I ever call an Uber? Well, I
God,
want
no.
anybody to see me like that. Nobody can
No.
see me riding in an Uber, getting out at the nail shop. That's just me.
Hell no.
Because you
She's
know
like,
they would
oh,
take a picture.
hell no. How am I going to get there?
She's like, and then not even want to ask friends or anything. She's just depressed. Like, I can't remember
Sis
when
has been taken out. She's been taken out the game. They took her car, and now he's going to have her driving a F-350 with Nesto on it. I know
okay,
she is done. I would be like,
can
do
I just
I
say
really
this
have to
about the
drive the
car?
diesel F-350? Are you kidding
Can
me?
I,
How can I
can
bring
I
that to
just,
Neiman Marcus?
but how do you still drive the car and pay the car note without trading it in and getting you something you like? Because that's an expensive truck. And why would I keep driving a truck that I cannot handle? And my car that was in your business name got taken from me in the middle of the street from me leaving the salon. First of all, now we know the salon atmosphere. Do you not think everybody was outside looking in the window like, y'all see Shirley?
Well, keep in
When we
mind,
just helped
so
them over.
but remember when her and Panay fell out? So she said, "You're not going to tell me what happened with you and Nesto?" And she's like,
Right.
"And why do I have to tell you my business?" Well,
Because they
sis, didn't they come?
pulled you
Didn't I
over
have
in
to
front of
drive
my
you home
salon.
after they took your car? I'm asking because isn't that like my goddaughter over there? Now you mad because I'm asking you?
And now she's
I don't
hating
have to
on
tell
her.
you what's going on in my marriage. And you stole my seamstress. You stole my lady who was going to make me cheap suits. Are you kidding me? I'm not talking to you never.
I'm done with you, okay?
Right. And my
I'm
daughter
done.
only wants to talk to me for rent. I was upset, Nesto. Can you believe that? He's like, oh my God, I love like you real feisty
He was eating it
today.
all up. He was
Oh
eating it
my
up.
God.
He was. It was like a soap opera to him. Tell me more. He was like, "Oh, we can talk about that. Now, don't bring up my cases because we can't say that
Don't
over the
talk
phone
about the
because they
cases.
listening.
No.
They listening to me about my cases. But tell me more about how you and Pinay fell out. I want to hear that.
Oh my
Tell
God.
me what's going
It's
on.
awful.
It is a story. I told my husband like, "Would you please, really? Are you? I'm talking. I'm in bed. If I miss the video, I got to listen to
Got
everybody's
to get caught up.
perspective.
You
I
got
got
to.
to. It's like it's a gift that keeps on giving because
It
every
is.
time I hear a call, I'm thinking, this cannot be happening. Like they really got this on tape. Like this is
It is a mess. Look, someone in the chat is saying they are over there screaming. I mean, it's the drama. It's very much a soap
it's
opera-ish.
everything you ever wanted from Young and the Restless, from Days of Our Lives. It takes me back to the 80s, the 90s. I'm like, this is a real live black soap opera that
She
we have
got
never
to
gotten before.
Yes,
We
this is
need
the
this on
have
a
and the
big screen.
have-nots for real though. This is
Yes,
like this is definitely someone says she needs to get a Ford Edge. Um,
yes.
oh my God, it's a mess. Miss Pepsi, Molly, Ice Cream, Shirley. You're it's Shirley is in I don't know if Shirley is in danger. I think Shirley's in danger of herself. I
She
really,
said
if I
she's
could
not
crack
afraid
the
of him.
code of how Nesto is making calls, I think so. We got a really good illustration today of how he makes calls. Now, is he calling on another friend's phone? Absolutely. I am going to put in a request for from August to now and see what's on there. Is it just a series of missed calls? Because if it's just a series of missed calls to like Lamont or Dion, I think he's doing a signal call for them to call him back on their phone, and or he is texting them through his iPad, because or they know what number to call him on someone else's pin, because he obviously knows people are listening, the calls are all out, he knows that information has been used against him. And but if if there was a way to really figure out like where he is at, because we know he's running his mouth to someone, he can't not be on the phone. He's just not on the phone through on his pin. He's just not. He's just
Oh
not on the
no,
phone
no,
through his pin.
he's on the phone, and
Yeah,
she's
he's
okay with that too. When he says, "No, no, no, don't say," okay.
yeah.
Well, that kills me every time she does that. He'll say, "No, we're not gonna talk about it."
Oh,
Okay.
okay,
Um,
okay.
well,
Yes. Yes.
look,
She's so
whoever
silly.
is a screenwriter out there, we need somebody to write this
They
and
said this
put
should
this
be on
on.
Tubi.
It's got to be, and it's got to be the real. It's got to be realistic. It can't be watered down. We need all of it because, and it's got to be one of those series that gets syndicated. It's like this is like 5 years worth of stuff. Once you go
It's
back
a
into him
lot.
being married all those times and how he got away with that. When you go back to him being in jail for how many years, he was already in jail, and then you get out, you already have wives before you go to jail, but you're able to get wives when you get out of jail. This is like unreal.
I think when Steve said he heard about this when it happened, now let's just talk about that real quick. When Steve Harvey learned that Nesto was in jail and they knew, and Monica was reporting back and forth to the team about what was going on, Steve, I'm quite sure, could figure some things out. Maybe he even had a private detective. I'm making stuff up right now, but all I'm saying is this: when he told her to move on with her life, or you got to make some decisions, he told her that because he had the knowledge, and also he probably wasn't in fear of a lawsuit at that moment. Because keep in mind, even though they're friends, they have a contract and they are co-workers. He is basically her boss as well. I'm sure he got some sort of advisement on how to steer the conversation, because he really can't talk to her about her relationship. Like he said, I really couldn't come to you and say, "Hey girl, what's going on with your man?" When he spoke to her at that moment because he knew he could, and it had already been vetted for him to talk to her. From an HR perspective, he may not have come to her as like in an HR way, but he came to her because he had been cleared to talk to her at that moment about what was going on and what was she going to do about it, and what do you need as far as help. Because if you're in a situation, even if your boss may not even know you well, if they know that you are in distress and they offer you help and assistance, do you need to call the employee assistance line? Do you need to talk to Barbara in HR? All of those things, they're going to offer you assistance even if they think that you are in distress. They're going to say, is there anything that we can help you with? Do you need this? Do you need that? Are you okay? All of those things. So we don't really know what she said for him to get to the point where he said, well, you need to start to make some decisions. But I think that he may have known, he knew more than what she thought he knew. And I also do think that she has stayed in as long as she has because I really don't think she planned to go anywhere. If she's gone, to me, if I was really eyes blind to this whole thing, those the photo depictions would have had me done. Like I couldn't accept his phone calls anymore after that. The exploitation and abuse of a child, we don't know what happened to those kids. Those kids could, we hear horrific stories about children missing, and these are prime candidates for that, people in those type of pictures. And we don't know what happened to those people. We really don't. And it's horrific. So I would hope that she has left that situation once and for all. Even, what I mean, we can have a kiki and stuff about it and everything, but he really does have some victims out here, and it's sad. It's awful.
I agree, and I think that what you said about Steve, to me, it's the yes, I agree with everything you were saying. But just like the YouTubers are able to get the information, he can get the information. He
Yeah.
probably looked into it as soon as Monica said, "Well, you know, Nesto got locked up, such and such. I'm not sure what all is going on, but I've been talking to Shirley, and she's upset because she was adamant that Monica was not telling her business."
Are you kidding? Yeah.
That's what was
And
so
Steve
sad.
has
She was
back channels. I
adamant
mean,
about that.
Steve, you
Oh
see
yeah.
who his security is, Big Boom. And I mean, you've heard what they've said about Big Boom and what he used to
Yeah.
do in his life. These guys are, these guys aren't squeaky clean Harvard business graduates. These guys are from the streets who made lots of money, smart, street smart. These guys, I don't want to say they are like Nesto, but Nesto is a street dude who was trying to come up like some other street dudes who made millionaire, and he's not cut from it. You do still have to have some integrity. At a certain point, you have to realize it's not just you. I think Ernesto got bigger than he ever thought that he would with his cons, and it got away from him. He involved way too many people. He did way too much. He was way too high profile with it, and he screwed over one too many women. He took too many women to bed, and he did too much in a sexual way that came back to haunt him. It's one thing to have you know how they say it's not the crime, it's the cover up. He did too much. He did way, way, way too much, and he took way, way, way too many women to bed that he victimized and did not bank on them coming to have their moment with the police to try to get their money back.
And I'm wondering, this is my own thought process because I have no idea about the law or anything, but I've just been thinking about something. Once his case is over, and say he get however many years, will those victims go after her because she's high profile? And regardless to what you may say, we feel like she don't have any money or whatever. But when you're a victim of what he's done all across the board, because even the abusive situations or whatever has happened, those people are going to want their money. They want, damages, money for damages, everything they've had to suffer because of him. And she was the one who was quote unquote married to him all these years that these things are going on. I'm just curious of how that could play out and if there would be a civil thing or if they could rightly do that. I'm just curious because the money is gone. I mean, the money is gone. Like the woman calling her about the ring and all of that. It's just sad to keep hearing that same story over and over and over again. And these people have lost. Like I think it was Sylvia that talked about how the lady was in the comments of that article
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
that he scammed her and her mom. We don't know. That could have been her life savings. We don't know. And what position that put them in life because he does those type of things. And these are just the people that we know about. We really don't know how far this goes. We really don't.
Well, okay, so as far as since she's not his legal wife, let's just say, maybe they can't come for her.
Okay.
If evidence to show that she was complicit and she was spending up other people's money, knowing like, ooh, that scam you ran, let me get those Louboutins or whatever. I don't know. I don't think that they will come for her specifically. I don't know if they can, because if they've been able to come for him in civil lawsuits and he hasn't even gotten, I don't know if he's had judgments against him from his past victims with the civil cases, if they actually found for um, the people that he victimized with the other theft by deceptions. But I don't know. I mean, he's been able to get away with it so far. I don't know how they would be able to come for her, especially if they just don't have enough proof of how she was involved or that they can trace it back to her where she would potentially be responsible. Because even if she were his wife, if maybe she had money that was tied in with him, but considering they have no money, and any future earnings, considering if that they are not married, I don't know that they would have any. I mean, look at it this way too. I mean, my God, if the Goldmans can't get money out of O.J. Simpson, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
True.
Like, it's unfortunate, but if they don't have enough proof and evidence to really have these cases locked down for the theft by deceptions, how are they going to get a civil suit against Shirley? And Shirley's sitting there like, I don't know anything. I don't really, I have no money. I have nothing. And anything that she's earning today, he doesn't have claim on because technically he's not her husband. So if she gets an annulment and all of those things, I don't really know. I'm going to be quite honest, but I don't see it.
And I'm
I
just
don't I
curious.
don't
It's
see
just
it. They
my
could sue
thinking because
him and
right,
have
right.
liens on him for future earnings. Let's say there was a big movie. Say he did get turned into he's wanted to have a movie so bad. Let's say they get a movie and they pay them for the rights to this movie, then yeah, maybe people will come after the victims of Ernesto Williams and try to attach liens to his future earnings. That's a possibility. I don't know how Shirley would tie in unless they could really show that she was complicit and she maybe even cooperated in the scams. But if she's not really involved, she just kind of I was she was working, turning a blind eye. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I was
those
just
are all
curious
great
about that.
points.
But
Mhm.
but the movie, he's gonna get a movie. Now, Denzel playing it, I don't know. But he's gonna get a somebody is going they're gonna have to pick if they picked up all this other stuff that we've seen movies for, somebody's gonna pick this up because it's so unreal that it's like a movie already that we're
It
seeing.
really is. It is a movie.
I mean, this is like the best script. I like to write and everything, and I couldn't have dreamed of this story. I just
It's
couldn't have. I just
it's it
that's
it
no.
it makes every day interesting. So tomorrow, I'm gonna find something that we can do a reaction on tomorrow. Because I know that there's a couple of good things to talk about tomorrow over on Love Lies and Lace Fronts. But you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and go. Dee Dee,
Yeah,
thank you so much for coming through. I enjoyed talking to
I
you. So
appreciate
this was a
you.
little bit
Please
more of like
keep
a laid
going.
back call in tonight because I hadn't had a chance to really connect with you guys. And I'm sorry, I've been trying to click on everyone's comments. But we really hadn't been able to address the comments yet. So I apologize for everyone and not reading the comments of just so like more so highlighting them, but I really did appreciate getting to connect. I think maybe we had about 5 callers, so I really did appreciate getting to connect with you guys. Let me see. I did highlight a couple. Let me see. The Yahoo Atlanta Black Star article from September 11th, 2023 talked about the child CP charges. Um, Single black female addicted to retail. Okay, shouts out to Kanye. Okay. Shirley is destitute. Erica King is going to tell everything. Erica King may have already told everything, truth be told, right? Um, Erica King is going to be his undoing. I mean, let's just be real about it. Erica King is going, he called her the Queen of the South. He called her the future. He called her his sister, his business partner, everything. Erica King was living next door to the house that was leased by that had Sheridan's name on it, and all of the cars that were intertwined with other people's monies. Um, she may know a little, she may know a lot, but she knows something. And I don't know where Dominique is. And someone said that they were thinking that um Erica is Dominique. This is why I'm going to tell you I don't think Erica is Dominique. Listen to the call that I posted 2 days ago. The call with he and Dre. If unless Dre doesn't know who Erica King is, and I find that hard to believe, Dominique seems to be a real person, unless maybe he just knows her by Dominique. But I think Dominique is Dominique, and I think Erica is Erica. I think that Dominique was some sort of an assistant. And Dominique, obviously, if she was talking to the landlord, she was facilitating documents being signed and all of those things. she might be an integral part of being able to talk about the operations of what was going on with Nesto at the time that she was dealing with him. And Dre talked about the girl's marriage breaking up and that she was a little bit salty because she never got to see Nesto, but Nesto ended up getting locked up. So I don't know that they're talking about Erica King, because if Dominique and Erica King were the same person, then Erica King knows exactly where Nesto is. He's in jail with her, right? So Dominique and Erica King are not the same person, because Dre spoke to Erica King and Dre spoke to Dominique, and she gave him the life update about what was going on with her marriage and all of those things, and asking about Nesto. So I kind of rule out the fact of Dominique being one and the same as Erica King. I don't think that that's the case. Dominique is a standalone, and I almost feel like we heard about Dominique through Dre, but we haven't heard about Dominique again. And I just wonder if Dominique is somewhere. Is Dominique one of the daughters? I don't know. Dominique, no, she wouldn't be a daughter because she was inquiring about Nesto in a relationship way. Um, Go and listen. If you hadn't listened to the call with he and Dre, they talked about Dominique, and it sounds like him and Dominique had something going on. So that would not be his daughter. Um, so yeah, you got to listen to that call. It was from a day or so. You're not going to sleep yet, and you want to listen to something else before you go to bed. Listen to the call with him. Nesto has on like a blouse on the thumbnail. He has like a blouse on, and it says "Call with Dre." Listen, it's only 30 minutes, but they talk about Dominique. And I almost feel like Dominique was in California. I need to go back and re-listen to it myself. I don't think we even reacted to that. So maybe we'll talk about that call tomorrow morning and get into that one. Hey, Thessie. Hey, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for coming through. We had over 900 in the live today. Thank you, India. This was long. We're going to try and keep it like right at an hour and a half tomorrow, because I don't want to I don't want them to be way too long, because it seems, when they're way too long, it might be a little bit too much. But I definitely don't mind the deep dives and getting into some deep conversation about this, because I do think it's quite helpful. I know some people don't think it is, but that's okay. We're not here for them. We're here for us, and we're all enjoying it. So as long as you guys are enjoying it, I'm definitely here for the series. I do more than this topic on my other channel, but we've been pretty much laser focused on this one. I'm going to try my best to start to incorporate a couple of other things while we're over here. But I mean, I don't have a problem with this topic over here at all, because it's so multifaceted. Like tonight, we really just didn't even get into a whole lot of the case. We really talked about, just kind of the social issues of this whole thing, right? Um, and but yeah, we hadn't even really talked too much about marriage yet. It's unfortunate for Shirley. Shirley, unfortunately, just doesn't have all of her priorities straight. And I'm going to just go back to, that's the reason why she's in the situation she's in. And I know it's probably very difficult for a woman in her situation, but her daughter was pretty much almost grown. But yeah, her loyalties are very weird. Yes, DJ Envy is quite interesting also. It seems that he had gotten himself linked up with some sort of a Ponzi scheme as well. But the people that he was friends with, basically he's saying he is a victim and he is not part of any of this business. And his friends now are saying he's not part of the business, even though he was doing seminars with them and he did kind of promo shout them out. People got the impression that he was, and there are people who said that they invested because of him. So he's saying he's not and was never. So I guess we're gonna have to see how this whole thing plays out. But anyway, guys, you guys are awesome. Oh, we have one more. We have one more call. So let's take this call and then we're gonna be out for the night. Okay, out like a light for the night. Okay. Let's talk to. Hold on one second. 504. Just give me 1 second, because. Okay. Hi, 504 Empress. How are you? Are you there? Oh, you're on mute. Hold on.
Can you
Did
hear
I
me?
just take you? I just took you off mute. Hey, how are you?
All
Welcome.
right. Hi, how you guys doing? You know what I thought was very suspicious and no one was talking about it?
Okay, tell us.
Um, he got caught with a weapon with a silencer.
Yes, I heard that. I've heard
And
that.
I'm gonna
Yes.
be honest with you, it seems as though they were letting his fraud stuff build up. So I'm a little suspicious, and I'm thinking they probably picked him up when they did, and as hasty as they did, because I think he was probably about to take out Shirley.
You think so?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So interesting. Okay, so I did hear I heard that he had felony possession of a weapon. Um, I did hear that. Why is there nothing in the papers about this? I cannot.
Exactly.
All I saw was some stuff in a blog about it, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't know where they got it from. Maybe they got it from court papers, maybe they got it sitting in court. I'm not sure. Um, all I can say at this moment, it's you know what I mean. I'm not gonna say it's gossip because we do know they say that he is doing 23 months for
Yeah.
that felony gun possession. Um, I don't know. So was there so he had a gun with a silencer on it. So that doesn't necessarily mean what makes you think that he en route to her job? Like what
Well,
makes you
because
say that?
you look at they have been surveilling him and watching all of this stuff kind of go down for multiple years,
Mhm.
right? And as hasty as they picked him up, you know, it's usually when there's a threat of someone's life or like when a serious event is about to go down. Like they wait until those events to pick them up, especially when it's like not a slam dunk.
Mhm.
So
But they're afraid that something's gonna happen.
yeah,
I don't know.
and they talk a
Yeah.
lot. Him and his gang, they talk a lot. So
Mhm. I don't know. I mean, I think anything's on the table. Um I don't know. I mean, no, I have not talked a lot about it because I have not seen one bit of documentation on it. I did read about it on someone's blog, like, you know, I don't know. They didn't cite a source as to where they got the information. It was kind of just like it was a blog post.
mhm.
So I haven't talked a lot about it. No, he had a security company. The gun was in the car. Okay. So he had an unarmed security
Yeah,
company.
because
So
he
he
is a
had
felon, because he
so
can't
he
have
had
possession of weapons.
right, but he had a gun in his vehicle. So when he was pulled over, the gun so he had felony possession of a gun. It may not necessarily have been his. Sylvia, do you know, was it registered legally to someone or was it a street, special? Was it was it actually a registered firearm to someone who was one of his 1099s? Because I mean that could easily explain that, even though that's still his jacket to wear as far as it being in possession of him. But um, I wonder. I mean, because let's see if Sylvia has anything.
It was just, kind of suspicious as hasty as they picked them up when they did. It didn't quite, especially you look at they've been following them for years. They've been
Mhm.
tracking all this stuff for years. So it was just really
Maybe it
suspicious
was
to me.
just time. So it's quite possible they thought something was happening. Also, maybe when the rape allegations, when that person came forward finally to tell their story, and
Mhm.
then let's just say the computer, the
Yeah.
CP, like, well, he was already in there when they got that. But what precipitated them picking him up on the day that they did? I don't know. I mean, I wonder what it was that made them say, "We're picking him up tonight," you know? Um, I don't know. That would be interesting to know because, when the investigators, the detectives, they're collecting all of their information, when is it enough with either the district attorney or the judge to say, okay, you've got probable cause? So I guess they said that they had probable cause, right?
Mhm.
So I wonder when it was that made them think, okay, we have enough, let's go get him.
Yeah,
That's a good
that's why
question. And then they happen to
like,
get him, and there's a gun in the glove compartment. That was very convenient,
yeah.
in the sense that that would give him something that would stick, because he is a felon and he does not have a right to have any firearms present.
Mhm.
So, but if that was a company car and it was used by multiple people, that could have been an argument, but obviously it wasn't a successful argument. If he got 23 months for it, they probably are like, well, you're the owner, you should have checked it, it's not supposed to be in your possession, you're unarmed security, why would one of your guards have it anyway? Because that's not a service that you should be selling as a felon, you're not bonded for that. So it may be like, okay, nice try. So maybe that was a nice try. And that's why he has to, and maybe it wasn't even his, or if it wasn't I mean, there's so many different questions. Like
Yeah, because it's like, so they repossessed like all their vehicles, right? So it's like strange that Shirley's vehicle that she was driving was under his business name, right? So it's like, well, why didn't they get that vehicle out versus the F-350?
because the F-350 was in her name. That's the one car that was in her name.
So then then he couldn't technically use it, saying that it was for his business. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Well, we
there's a
don't know that
lot
that's
of
the car. They impounded that car because it was being repossessed. So because there was a note due on it, that's how they came and picked up that car, because it was already up for repossession anyway. And she went and made the note and was able to go pick it up. But that's the one car that was in her name. Everything else wasn't in her name.
Mhm.
And they said that his business was questionable, and that's why they took possession of anything that was in his business name, went and was seized,
That was
because of all of the, I don't want to say money laundering, but I
it's
mean,
yeah,
it's
it's
the
damn
the
near,
appearance of money laundering. So it's possible that that's the reason why they picked up anything that was in Nesto's name, and Shirley, the F-350 was in her name, and because she's not a party to any of this, they let her go pick it up.
Mm.
And there's a lien on it. She satisfied the lien. It had her name, and they let her go get it.
It's like, is that the vehicle that he was actually picked up in, the 350?
I don't know what he was picked up in, just to be honest. I haven't seen the arrest report of when he got picked up that day. I don't know if Sylvia has that. Um, I'm still trying to figure out how to get that stuff. So as far as getting the arrest report from like July 7th, when he was picked up that night, that would be interesting to know, what they seized, his car, where was he, what actually happened. I don't have that information.
Yeah, it's all very convenient. It's just something about it just doesn't fit right. It doesn't. Mm.
When he was arrested, or
Mhm. Yeah, when he was arrested,
as
it
to
just
why
doesn't
they
sit.
picked him up that day?
Yeah, that and like what was in his possession at that time. It's very convenient.
I mean, down here in the South, it is not out of the ordinary for people to roll around with their weapons. He, as a felon, doesn't have the right to do that. However, we know the type of guy that he is, and I'm sure he was doing it anyway. Like,
Yeah.
he obviously above the law and thinks that he is. So he was doing what he wanted to do. So I'm sure he probably blamed it on one of his other officers, probably left it in there. But at the end of the day, they probably felt like, okay, you're the owner. You should have checked the vehicle before you got in it. When you noticed it was there, you should have called the owner of the weapons. So if it was traced back to whether it was his or not, he's still responsible if you're driving around in the car with it.
Mhm.
But as the owner, that probably should, if you're not the only person that drives this car, it's your responsibility to check the vehicle.
Yeah.
If you know that you have people who are hired who may carry a weapon because they're actually they're contractors if they're 1099s.
Mhm.
So obviously that was not an excuse.
Yeah.
So
So that's the one that's like the questions I have. Like, which vehicle was he picked up in the F-350, and then the silencer, and then the timing. It's
what
it's
was
a
the
lot.
timing that's questioning for you?
No, just
What was the
when they did it, because it wasn't like he was in commission of a crime for like the fraud actively at that moment. Because usually they wait to like situations like that to catch you in the act of committing crime, especially when they've been watching him for years, right? So it's just a little odd. It's just a little
So
odd.
when they picked him up, I think it was initially on the real estate, right? It was on
Mhm.
the it was what was going on with the landlords. The landlords noticed that there was no one living at the house. There was a bunch of weird cars and the rent was late. And they started investigating that. Then what else happened? So that whole thing. And then I guess researching how the leases came into play. Sheridan's on the lease. I
And then
guess
the
the thing that
check
maybe
that he
happened with Erica King.
Yeah,
So
and
there
then
was
the
a
check that
check
he wrote to buy Shirley's ring was written
bound.
from someone else's business account.
Well,
It's a lot of
and then
weird.
he wrote her another check, didn't he?
Mhm.
Um, and then the checks bouncing. Like there was just a lot going on. And maybe when they started looking up his name, they're like, okay, theft by deception. Like here seems to be someone with a history of doing certain things. And then I don't know, maybe they realized, okay, and then someone he deals with lives right next door, but nobody lives here. What's going on over there? It just maybe seems like maybe it was one of those things where somebody could have actually walked away and was like, whatever. Or somebody was like, "This is weird."
Yeah, and all
Like
the different
you
variations of his name for it's all just kind of quirky. It's very quirky.
absolutely, yeah. I mean, there's just there I think he got away with for a period of time undetected because of the convenient misspellings of his name,
Mhm.
because he is probably good at playing like he doesn't know anything, blaming other people, leaving a trail behind, making sure he's bedding women down. They're going to be embarrassed, and maybe not want to say anything. They're of a certain age. They don't want to tell that they were having an affair with someone that they knew was married. I mean, who knows? Like
Yeah,
it
and
could be lots of different reasons, you
yeah, and
know?
it's weird too, because like even
Yes. So the lady Bickham who with the Mercedes, the $70,000, the $90,000 out of her business account, she was calling, she was filing a report. The thing with there was just a lot of things happening at the same time.
Mhm. And see, we haven't even touched really on the cases from California.
Well, old girl called old girl in California and told her everything. I'm thinking it was Erica King called someone in California. I don't know if Dominique
Did
is
you
in
do that?
California.
It's very suspicious. I think they really need to do like a real deep dive on him and figure out everywhere he's ever lived. And
Oh,
I
you
think
think
they're
I'm
going to
sure
uncover a
that's
lot
what they're
more.
doing. Yeah, that's what they have to. I mean, they don't have to, but I think in the current climate of Atlanta, I think they're checking into um I mean, did you hear Majeski talking about they're looking into search warrants, they're still doing this, they're still doing that.
Mhm.
They're investigating him. Absolutely. We just don't know about it because this is an active investigation. They're not
Yeah,
gonna, you know what I mean? Like we can't
definitely.
find out everything, but I think Sylvia's going to court. What is that on this? He's going in on the 17th, which is Tuesday. So we may hear some new things, and then there'll be some new filings and we can get that paperwork and find out what's going on. Let's see.
But don't you
Me
think it's
too.
strange that Shirley, at the status that she was, wouldn't have done a background check to, like it just seems a little.
We're talking 10 years ago. And if he came through the beauty shop and she thought he was okay, I don't know. I mean, like I said, Shirley is gangsta boo. Shirley likes this. She's enjoying a little bit of this man of mystery.
Well, they
If she
kind of
didn't,
all are. That whole circle. You
that
look at
whole sort of Steve
Marjorie.
Harvey,
Yeah,
yeah.
Marjorie. I'm like, I wonder if Marjorie got something to do, because at the very beginning, like they kept bringing her up a lot, and I'm like, I wonder if she got something to do with it.
I don't know. I just, we don't have anything to support that. I'm sure she probably does not because her and Shirley are not friends. Like, I don't know that Shirley sent Nesto for, you think she sent Nesto to mess with her for 10 years?
Oh, no. I don't think
You know what
anything
I
like
mean?
that. No, but I'm saying like it wouldn't be surprising if they kind of ran in the same circles.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Marjorie is busy at Paris Fashion Week and hangs out with Kris Jenner and very high profile people. Shirley is over there with Nesto, running around Atlanta to coffee shops and
Well,
lunch
yeah,
spots, and
but
they're
like
not running in the same.
Marjorie back in the day with her ex-husband, because
Oh, Townsend, but that was way before Shirley's time. Like, that was. I don't think they. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, look, Marjorie was at the comedy club when Steve was there, but I don't know that has anything to do with Shirley.
Yeah.
I
don't
don't
know.
think
I
so.
always have a lot of different questions. I'm like, I wonder if that's related. It's because you never know until you ask.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I think that Marjorie lives a very different lifestyle from Shirley. And I think it makes Shirley feel some type of way, which is why Shirley said Marjorie treats us like the help. And I don't know that she treats her like the help, but what Shirley has to understand is that you work for her husband and she's not your friend. She's the boss's wife.
Yeah.
So if you feel like the help, and not in a bad way, but maybe because you work for her husband and she's not really your friend, she keeps her professional distance because that's just how they're doing it. I mean, I don't know. To me, it makes sense. If you want to be friends with someone, be friends with someone. But if Marjorie is not necessarily interested in being friends with everyone from the radio show because she has her own life, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Not at all.
I mean, how many people do you stay in contact with when you leave a job? I mean, some people are friends with people, friends with people at work. I can't even, I don't even know anybody from any of my old jobs. I mean, maybe in passing it on LinkedIn, and there's still some friendly, like, oh, hey, what are you doing? What are you up to? But it's not Merry Christmas or Happy Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? It's nothing. It's over. We don't work together. Like, you know what I mean?
No, I'm the same way. It's like I don't want to mix my work with my personal life, because if anything happens,
It gets to be a bit much. I mean, I can think of one person who I've maintained a little bit of a relationship with, who I like very much, but we're just very busy. But for the most part, I'm not friendly with anybody I've worked with previously. And it's not because I don't like them. It's just because we had a business relationship. We worked together. It was all of that. But when I moved on, I moved on. You know what I mean? Like, it was okay. Marjorie, I think, I don't want to say a convenient bad guy. I think a lot of people, I don't want to say people don't like her. People love her. Some people don't like her. She was involved in some affair allegations. And I think this whole situation dragging Shirley, Steve successfully got Marjorie out of the limelight because Shirley came out on this, my husband's in jail. And I think nobody cared. For the most part, the people who care about Marjorie Harvey, I'm not going to say they don't care about Shirley, but it got people talking less about Marjorie having an affair, and it got the internet talking about Shirley, and it's been nonstop ever since. Like, Shirley is getting dragged all over the internet, and Marjorie has stayed off social media. Um, they wished her happy birthday on social media, but Marjorie has stayed off of social media. She's trying to kill the noise about her having an affair. If
Yeah.
she was having an affair, there no one's talking about it now. If Steve was having an affair, then nobody's talking about it now. The things that are being talked about on this internet is Shirley and Nesto and all of that. And that's it.
Yeah, she's giving us a lot to talk about. Whew.
And yes, she is. And she has not I even so she on her Instagram, I hit the subscribe button to see if there was any content in there. On her Instagram, there's nothing. So if anyone out there is subscribed, you're paying for nothing. I went to cancel it. They gave me a free month. So I was like, okay, I'll stick around till December because I only paid $4.99 and I get an extra free month now. And she hasn't posted anything, and I'm sure she's probably not. But yeah, I just think that she's had warning signs, symbols, signals, everything, and she's chosen to stay with this guy. And
Yeah.
we're just going to see how it plays out. I don't know if she's going to come do another announcement. I think if she has to come do another announcement, it's going to be her job.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because I think it's just so strange to me how, like, even in their conversation, she acts like she's so helpless and she can't do things, and it's like, ma'am, you successfully did all of this on your own when you were single. Like, how now you can't manage to figure this stuff out? It's just a little odd. It's a little odd.
I don't know. I mean, she can manage to write a check for Sheridan. Look, I think she enjoyed that Nesto took care of a lot of stuff for her. I think Nesto took care of a lot of stuff for her because Nesto liked having access to all her money and playing around with it. Whether he was making money or not, he still had access to what she had going on. And as long as those credit cards and debit cards and cars were turning, I think she was just fine. She didn't care. And she got used to him basically taking care of her. And I'm not saying she doesn't know how to, because clearly she knows how to. She just might not want to. She was enjoying the benefits of wife life, but she was doing it with a nicely dressed bum. I mean, let's just call it what it is. He's like a whole bum.
Yeah. He gives a brand new name to homosexual.
Okay. Period. Yeah, that's exactly what he was giving. He's all dressed up. He's got the nice, well-tailored pants, nice shoes, keeps his hair, he's a well-groomed guy, but I mean, she was basically paying the tab. She might have felt like he was paying the tab, but he was probably drawing everything as soon as her $35,000 direct deposits were coming through from her good job. They're going right out the door on some Nesto business. And she probably wasn't even realizing nothing's going to saving, nothing's going to my IRA, nothing. And all of a sudden it's like, where did my money go? Where's the money?
And then your rent isn't being paid.
Rent's not being paid. We're being evicted. Oh, I got it. Somebody messed up a check. Somebody must have messed up a check. We gonna, I mean, he was probably just, and this maybe lasted a lot. I don't know. I mean, if he should have known he wasn't divorced from the first wife. But he's also a con man. We keep thinking, well, how did Shirley not know? Why did he move forward knowing? Because he's a con man. He's a con man. Why would you marry someone?
Information.
Yeah.
Even if it's voluntary, like they don't request like your documents and stuff, they still, and it says on there, if you don't fill it out or you fail to, include all the information, that's fraud. So,
right. And he lied just like he did his bankruptcies. He filled out bankruptcy documents because he wanted to freeze collections from people. He used it as a to finesse the system to not have people come for him in certain ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Well,
mean, there's so many questions. I think the more stuff comes out, the more questions will be answered. But yeah, this is going to be interesting when the trial happens. Let me see if I can answer some of these questions. But I thank you so much for calling in, and make
oh,
sure
thank
next time we do this again, I'd love to hear from you again. So,
all right. And
circle back around, spin the block
I'm
next
gonna do
time we
some
do a
digging
call in.
myself, and I'm gonna
Please
see what I
do.
can find. Look
Please
in some
do.
documents.
I think it's very interesting. I think it's empowering. There's information that's available to all of us, and it's good that we learn how to use the system, because you never know when these skills may be needed for other things, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I mean,
even that
yeah.
situation with his attorney, like your attorney should be coming to see you. They should be asking for discovery. A lot of that stuff was like, wow, people were probably in jail, and they don't even know the full extent on the reason why. You know.
Well, let's keep in mind Ernesto's a liar.
Well, yeah,
Now,
yeah.
when Sonia's saying, did he not come see you? Maybe he was telling her the truth that excuse me, BC had not come to see him, right?
Hmm.
BC was the lawyer. I showed you guys that document from 2013 when he beat the case with Melvin and Crystal.
Hmm.
BC was his lawyer. BC is very familiar with theft by deception cases with Ernesto. He's been down that road. Remember, he said he did it before. I forgot how he said it, but that was his lawyer before when he beat the same charge, the theft by deception. BC's already been familiar with that with him. Why BC left him, I don't know. Now, as far as the public defender taking a sick leave, I don't know why he did that, but why maybe he doesn't have BC anymore because they can't afford to pay for it, I'm assuming. But this is Ernesto has a track record.
Yeah, this is. Whew. I feel sorry for Shirley
But
in
yeah,
some ways.
back to the lying, we don't really know. He said when Sonia's asking, well, hasn't he come to see you? He said everything was on Zoom. So maybe he hadn't come to see him, but maybe he talked to him on Zoom. Maybe wasn't calling him because he's like, look, the courts are backed up.
Yeah.
Nothing's happening. I'll call you when it's time. I don't need to call you once a week to tell you nothing's happening.
Yeah, and they did have a lot of restrictions as far as visitation and stuff like that due to the outbreak or whatever.
COVID
Yeah.
and short of staff, and maybe there was a lot of crime going on. This
Hmm.
time last year they were dealing with the aftermath and the prelude to voting in
Yep.
Atlanta and all of everything that was happening with all of with everything with aftermath of the last president,
Hmm.
everything getting ready to happen in Georgia.
Yep.
There was a lot going on.
Yeah.
So, and we don't know what was going on with them rounding up all of the gang situation, which
Hmm.
is possibly a reason why he was in Cobb. People were asking, why is he in Cobb versus Fulton? I don't know. It could be age. It could be a lot of different things. It could be overcrowding. It could be gangs. It could be you know, I don't know. I'm thinking CP, but I don't know if they knew about that at the time that he got transferred to Cobb. It could have been age or the ability to be able to service him. He said he needs to go get his blood pressure checked. Maybe there's better doctors to be able to cover the needs that he might have versus the needs other people might have. I don't know.
Yeah, this is a wild one. I'm buckle my seatbelt up and enjoy the
Right. There's
ride.
so many things going on. Anyway, thank you so much for coming through. I'm going to let you guys go. We've been here for a long time. I know everyone's got to be getting tired. I know I'm starting to.
Okay. Good
But
night.
thank you so much. Thank you for calling in. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Good night. Guys, let's see what's going on. Okay, guys, I'm going to read through and I'm going to try to answer some of your questions tomorrow. I will see you guys. I thank you guys. This was a fun call in. I appreciate you guys talking to each other in the comments. Probably overcrowding. I think that would be a very good reason. I'm not really sure. You know, sometimes it could be anything that was going on right around that time. And if he's got medical needs, maybe they were better able to take care of him over there. And then also, maybe because his wife, you know, we don't really know. But very interesting. You guys definitely make sure to comment and I will try to get back to as many of you as I possibly can. You guys take care. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the weekend. I'll see you again next time I go live. I probably won't be going live over here again, probably until like Monday, but I'll see you guys over on Love Lies and Lace Fronts. And again, take care. Have a wonderful evening. And I'll see you guys over here on Monday. And if you join me over on Love Lies and Lace Fronts tomorrow, I will see you then. Okay. Take care, guys. The LV is liquid Viagra. Bye, guys.